soul as these walls begin to fold. Head lost in the silence, cold stars illuminate the secrets on your tongue and the poison in my lungs. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be your boy Aggressive back on the hot seat here today for the EON League, ladies and gentlemen. Another day, and it's going to be another weekend full of action, R6 action, mind you. And it's going to be Crescio, my main boy on the side, the guy who has years of R6 experience, but he's still bad at the video game. And of course, he's retired now to be a caster, but he brings a plethora of knowledge onto the table, especially when two incredible teams are going to be in front of your screens today. How are you feeling about this one, Crescio?
I'm really feeling pumped up, my guy. And of course, it's been a very long time that I've been sitting on you on a casting desk in particular, because of course I've been moving across continents for the past couple of months. And I mean, even though it has been a very long time that I do not carry you on R6, even though with your statement,
For
but still,
sure.
yeah, man, you want me to put up the stats, but that's something for another day. But to be honest, I am really pumped up for the action which is going to be coming in, and at the same time, I'm getting to explore how R6 is played on the other continents as well. So I'm kind of pumped up to see exactly what's on the board, and of course, I'm really happy to be here, Aggie.
Absolutely. Like things that we have seen in Asia, like Asian players in general, they play so much more aggressive in comparison to what we see generally in the European League. And in particular, this league, I've already done EON previously in that last week, and I saw a drastic change in that overall playstyle. Teams are a lot more tactical in their overall nature, and you can see that the communication line between the players, it's present a lot more. You can see the macro plays that are done. Yes, of course, there's a lot of individual players who are very hyperactive in the way that they try to approach a lot of these fights, but the way they plan things out, the way they coordinate with one another to enable themselves to go in for those solo plays, it's what's really surprising. And the map selection today will really highlight that as well. We're going to be heading straight up into multiple different band selections that we are going to have in front of your screens in just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Small technical difficulty, but Chalet being the first initial map, with Nighthaven Labs being taken as the second, and Cafe being the decider. All of these maps will really test the teams to see whether or not they can be a cohesive force, or will it be a game where deathmatch needs to be played out to see who's the winner.
I mean, when it comes to Chalet, I do understand a lot of teams opt to go for the gunfights dead on, but then again, Chalet has been reworked as well on Siege 2.0. Or should I say Siege X? My bad, I cannot say Siege 2.0. So on Siege X, as there are not much more utilities on the map, you need to have a bit more of that push where you know exactly where the utilities are going to be, how you can play the map in a much more spectacular fashion. So in my
Absolutely.
opinion, Chalet always was a gunfight focused map, but at the same time, team coordination on Chalet really comes into equation, because think about the long line of sight, think about the refract potentials, think about the map control you
Absolutely.
need, regardless of the side you are on. So that's just gonna be the first thing. But I also got to see Night Haven Labs, and I believe it was Cafe, if I'm not wrong, on
Yeah.
overtime.
Yep.
So truth be told, I'm actually happy to see an unorthodox map like Night Haven Labs, because a lot of teams opt to skip this map in particular, even though, in my opinion, within the new maps we have on this game, including what's not very surprised, because that is also a very common map. So I'm not quite sure how this is gonna be going down onto overtime side, but I'm exceptionally interested how the plays are gonna go down into Chalet as the map bans come in. RPG versus Plunderstück.
We're gonna have to see where this is gonna go, because RPT as a squad, like we don't have as much data on these teams, because again, a lot of the teams that are playing inside of EON, they don't have as much history that we can go back on. So it's going to be a journey. As the league has just begun, we're going to be going through a lot of the phases. A lot of teams are going to be there, but at the same time, there's going to be mistakes. So the bans are looking to be quite interesting here already. A grim ban, something that is very uncommon here, but could be a targeted ban, understanding that maybe Plunderstück really does utilize the grim in a very specific manner that can cause problems for the members of RPT.
I mean, I do agree with you over there because Grim is an operator who can reveal the location, but at the same time, these operators usually gets banned on vertical angles. For example, in Clubhouse, I'll understand because sometimes a Grim can really give you a hard time when it comes to holding on to
They're
the garage
starting bar
catwalks
and
and so
gaming
on. But
room.
Attackers
okay,
need to
okay, I want
locate
to see
and
this
defuse
actually.
bombs.
Okay, this is actually smart if they started off with the grim ban. This is
Bomb
actually
located by
smart. You
attackers.
just said it's about playing the vertical angles, right? Because you want to take off that grim off of this table because the vertical positions, if they take over the entirety of the second floor, the grim can really cause some problems, especially when you look at the closet side. If the grim gets a good position, if he shoots out his gadget over into the closet, the player sitting in there just cannot play for free anymore. So this initial ban could be a setup ban coming in from the members of RPT.
Very much likely, but
10
I would
seconds to go.
kind of say Capital would have been a far more viable ban over here, Aggie, because think about it. Yes, they can put up a pressure onto the closet side, but when it comes to this objective in particular, there's gonna be a much more heavier presence on. Okay, wait, pulling down coming in! This is gonna be a run out, this is gonna be a spawn peak. This is very common, but this is something we usually see in ranked plays. If this is gonna work against the Blackbeard, that's gonna be really hilarious!
Oh no!
The second one as well! Oh god! The attackers have Plunderstück! Did not see that coming!
Oh boy, this is not where you want to be. Finally, the man, the myth, the legend has been taken out, but the damage is already done. 2 players dropping onto the floor. And ladies and gentlemen, the attack just left shook. Plunder, how do you turn this one around? The Blitz already taking a little bit of pepper damage over from the sidelines. They know his position. Pokeball to try and catch out the Blitz does a little bit more damage. The Dogobi Logic Bombs finally coming online, but it's a little bit too little too late. You find the positions of the enemies, but the thing is, they're all just waiting inside of the side. And one Oryx was the thing that brought you down to your knees.
I mean, I kind of believe that they have played multiple sprints against each other because bringing in Oryx, I understand they wanted to go for that run out, but at the same time, Oryx is indeed a hard puncher to any form of shields, and we have 2 shields on the equation of the attacking side, but now with 1 remaining on the board, it's gonna be the Blitz, who does have a little bit of chip damage, but still very likely to go for an aggressive play as well. Knows the location, but the problem is the shots are not going to be connecting. That's exactly where the problem is when it comes to Blitz having a vertical angle, and now he's kind of stuck on the rocks, but eventually he'll be able to make his way into K9. But as I was saying previously, a Capital would have been a much more viable pick when it comes to clearing out the library side because you cannot toss too much utilities on the corner. But I guess that's not the main priority here, as the defenders are also going for direct head-on gunfights. This is locations revealed, and now trying to burn the time as much as they can because they know they are not going to allow this Blitz to have a 1v1. We do see the fire extinguishers going off, trying to cut off some angles, even though this one in particular was taken out during the prep phase. And now, isolation is going to be there, but no shots are connecting. Not a good day for the Blitz so far, but still, Marsh. Oh, is it Maxwell? Sorry, my bad. Trying to find the best of it. I do see Taz going for a little bit of, not exactly bait, but rage bait, if I might, but still. As of now, 40 seconds left on the clock. No diffuser, I believe. Yes, exactly nothing at all. There is an aggression onto the office side, and maybe he's gonna be able to find one if the Blitz has the read. But the problem is the shotgun timing is just too good from the smoke, as he will find the last kill and second the first round for the side of RPT. What a round, I must admit, considering the fact that Oryx run out was a statement from their side.
Absolutely. They're going to have to worry about this one. Make sure these garage angles are droned out completely so that the Oryx doesn't get these ones for free anymore. Scopos will get picked up instead. And the thing is, they're still taking the first floor rooms. They're not going to garage. They're not going to bedroom. The fact that they're still playing on this first floor means that they're playing for the verticals. They want to extend out as much as they possibly can onto every single one of these avenues. And this is a big surprise, right? A lot of teams don't do this because why would you ever do this when the garage exists? You have an easier time holding on the vertical lines aside from bedroom as well. But no, you take kitchen instead for this second round. This is a bamboozle and a half that the members of Plunder have to worry about because Now, what do you do when you're on the attack side? Because the extension that is being created by them is going far out. They're on every single floor. They're even on the side of basement. How do you try to even fight this? Because the amount of utility you have to go through to try and even get close enough to those hatches is a massive problem. And especially with the Scopos just running around creating even more chaos by being that hypermobile roamer, it's going to be difficult for the members of Plunder to really get a turnaround. And the Scopos already going in for a very aggressive run out here. But that's exactly what this one player is going to do. As long as Taz is there to cause some issues, you can tell that Plunder, they can't attack for free.
There's no way in hell they're gonna be able to attack for free, because look at the map control the attackers have. Sorry, the defenders have already across the top floors, including the west main. That's understandable, but the amount of pressure they're also putting up on the main mezzanine side, that's immense. The attackers will have to even think twice before having a proper entry on their building. And that, speaking of it, they will be having the first quote-unquote casualty, even though it's not quite a kill confirmed. Blackbeard is already super low on HP. The scope was Talos. I believe that was Talos, not Colossus, taken out already, but still, Colossus will have to make sure the revenge goes down and he keeps himself alive, or herself alive, because it is a robot. I mean, controlled by a woman in the background, but still, that's not the equation here, as we will be seeing the early fight on from the side of Legion.
Good shot.
Will be getting down. Well, not quite a confirmation yet, but it will be confirmed thanks to the grenades. Now,
You got
wait a second. It's not. How did it stop this? And what the hell?
Reloading! Cover me!
Hey, I have a lot of questions here. Like, Blackbeard does have backup right next to the jungle side, but come on, man. Someone needs to pick the line of sight to put the pressure onto the Fenrir, but somehow the Fenrir is still playing very much safe and free.
He has such a powerful position as well, being the one to have multiple different spots, especially with those FNATs just going around everywhere, creating the pressure. Fenrir, so difficult to try and get off his side, and he is living there rent-free in the minds of Plunder and also onto that position. Ladies and gentlemen, think about it. Look at where the members of Plunder are. They are not even able to get into the proper vertical positions, and they still need to work their way onto the site, which is on the first floor, Cresto. You can't make this up. There's too many different angles that they have to worry about. And the poor old members of Plunder, I do think that they're just bamboozled by this entirely. They're not mentally prepared for setups that could be going on towards kitchen and game room. Who the hell picked those sites on the map of Chalet? It's going to be the members of RPT. Oh.
They are checking it right now as we speak, and looks like the defenders do have information on that. But the problem is they'll have to find the heads first, as the smoke plan, as we used to see in the rank lobbies, is going to work out just fine. And now the retake is also going to work out more than finally, as they will not even take too much time to go for the retake. So I kind of understand exactly why the players of RPT went back into these unorthodox objectives, because they want to get in the nerves of their opposition and not allow them to have any form of entry. Because look at that. The first round there was a run out. The second round there were known frost traps, and somehow the attackers didn't quite have an answer. And the worst part over here is the attackers are not taking proper space. I'm not blaming them. It's just how the momentum of the side of RPT is working, because they are not allowing the attackers any form of flexibility. Their psychology here at the moment is that, okay, you have the preparation phase, have it to yourself, but the moment the preparation phase is over, we will rain the mortars on your heads. And that's exactly what's happening now. But for the side of Plunderstück, I do want to believe, as this is a top floor defense, they should have something on the equation. I do see a glass on the board, no hard breacher whatsoever, so not quite sure how that mezzanine wall is going to be taken out, but I kind of believe it's going to have a lot of pressure from the Solarium side. But then again, having Solarium on the equation, Aggie, you know there has to be someone onto the bathroom windows. Otherwise, this is going to be completely free objective or map control for the defenders.
Absolutely. I don't even see a Maverick being utilized here to just facilitate this glass a little bit more too, because generally what the strat is stuff that happens in TikTok and sometimes in ranked as well.
Yeah,
is the Maverick creates a couple of holes on those Solarium on the mezzanine wall, and then it just allows them to easily brute force their entry through, because the glass now has full line of sight over the entire line just by playing from inside of that smoke. But without a Maverick, without a proper hard breach, this is going to be a tough one for them to find. But maybe, just maybe, that's going to be the opening kill. The castle now taken off the board. Finally, Lambro just immediately getting shut down. A menace to society pretty much in round number 1 with his run out. Now finally being brought onto his knees. 4v5 now across the map. The members of Plunder, they are in a little bit more of a better spot, but the thing is, they don't have a qualified hard breacher to try and go in for these duels.
I mean, I'm not quite sure
What?
if the
Why?
I'm not quite sure if the recruit has any form of harvesting utilities, but anywho, has kind of going for a bit more of a bigger bite than he could have had, but he's gonna be punished for that undoubtedly. But I kind of want to know exactly what's the game from the attacking side as well, because I do love how they're taking control from the K9 side and away from the toilet side as well, as I was talking about it. So now that they have an opening, they should be able to flush inside the objective. Considering the mute is offside, I believe he does have a pre-placed C4, will be taken out instantaneously as well. And now the Frost. Lone defender alive, and now location reveal as well. The wall bangs are gonna be there. We'll be able to down the glass, but no confirmations. But I kind of want to know if the attackers had to stand all out after all, because when it comes to a sentry, yeah, now no, not sentry, I think it is striker, yeah. So striker, I would say, is the most unpredictable attacker in the game, well followed up by sentry as well on the defensive side, because you do not know exactly what form of utility they're going to bring on the board. So sometimes striker or sentry, striker in particular, can bring up EMPs and also the hard breaches to go up on the self hard breaching support. But I guess that was really not the case, because they kind of felt confident that, okay, we want to take full control of K9, and they just did. So kind of a question mark from my side, Aggie, because I do see a lot of strats from RPT, and I know for a fact that they are working because they have portrayed it. But at the same time, Plunderstück, they have also shown that they can simply ignore the strats. And if this is their strategy, go ahead and you'll just be fine. I want to believe that as we go for a basement defense, I believe, because I did see a Mira coming in. Yes, it is. So, well, kind of sad because the breach is not really not in the equation here either, Aggies. As you can see, there are no hard breaches. But the defenders, I love it. They are doubling down regardless, because they also have a 2-bar out to capitalize on them bandit batteries.
This is something unorthodox, especially in the European leagues as well, that a lot of teams just don't really go in for those hard breach positions compared to all of the other regions, because they believe that they can get this map just through the basis of superior map control. Plus, especially up against RPT, when you know a team is playing hyper aggressive across the entire map, you have a higher chance of getting proper opening pickups and roam kills by utilizing different ops that just facilitates that. But instantaneous swap, they saw that this was going to be a side change over towards basement. They know that they have to break through that garage wall if they want to get this plan down. So instantaneous pickoffs on either side, but a Kali and a Glass both are getting picked up. 2 snipers to try and hold onto these lines from the side of the garage. As soon as that wall gets opened up, all hell is going to break loose, because you know for a fact that that termite is going to get a free plant off, and both the Kali and the Glass are going to be able to put down this things.
For certain. And on top of that, if they go for the back breach as well onto the trench side, they're gonna have a long line of sight into the connector as well, and that's an insanely OP angle, because most of the times the defenders, they don't have much answers to that. Because think about it, if you open up that the double wall towards the trench stairs or west main stairs, you can just cut off the objective into half, including the connector, including blue, including pillar, and that gives you safe heaven into the plant spot as well, onto the pillar cover. But I guess that's really not the main focus here, as it is going to be a full-on front push, as the 2-bar will be the opening frag. We'll be able to find the opening frag onto the Kali, who's the sniper now, but we do have a sense. But I guess Vipers don't quite work even now, as the frags going back and forth. That Claymore kill onto ADM. And now, it is kind of a shit show, if I want to be honest. Nice shot from the side of Cloudy, but it's still not a man advantage for them. With the DMRs they have on their board, they'll have to fend these SMGs off as fast as they can. The Bandit was looking for a run out, but not quite going in a feisty fashion. He is hungry. He is not greedy, though. Most are coming in again. I do believe he has one more utility left. C4 will be dispatched, will not be blown up, as the Mira knows exactly. Mira or Warden, I'm not sure. I do believe the Mira will not be going up for these greedy plays. There will be a cover now, which has been newly added onto this new map, or should I say, on the map of Chalet. The runouts there, information are given away, but still, the sense is pretty much safe to go for a commitment. There's still one more C4 left in the pocket. Oh, never mind, there are no C4s left from any of the players. So should be just fine if the glass can just hold it off, but I kind of believe that's not going to be the case. Bandit, I mean, insane rotation coming out from the library side and onto the game window, and the rotation has been called off as well. Not sure what's happening here. 2-2 situation, and still no aggression from side defenders, and now they're low on HP,
What?
and it's all up to the Warden.
They're dropping like flies at this point. They're taking so many 1v1 isolated duels. This was a 3v2 situation. The plant has yet to go down. Why are you peeking? I don't even think he went into going for a full-on plant there. And somehow the members of Plunder, they just get this round out of absolutely nowhere. What the hell just happened? You can't do stuff like this. The Mira went in for a complete wraparound from blue, came from the top row, wanted to go in for a flank. For what reason? You're a Mira. You could just wait out the positions. You could have placed a Mira window close to the frontal. I forgot the position, like near wine.
The single
and just
wall.
been able to watch the frontal wall near wine and just watch the entire thing happen. But no mirror tricks were done to try and stop the whatchamacallit, the thermite charge from going off. A bandit battery was not saved in this situation, even though you have a Tubera, and if you have that Tubera, you can easily use those bandit charges to instantly put a stop to what the thermite was planning. None of it really happened. When you have so many ops that can deny a lot of these entries, this is going to be a tough position to be in, because RPT, they showcased such creativity when it came down to those lower side floors, but as soon as they went into the much more generic ones, the team just started being a little bit more lackluster.
10 seconds to insertion.
It is one way to explain it, because when it comes to the defense strategy, it raises my eyebrow quite a lot, because number one, you are on defense, you have 3 players alive, none of you have C4s anymore, which is understandable, you use them, it's okay. But I don't understand, why do so many people need to rotate while you are already set the objective? What are you rotating for? There are no ghosts available. I mean, at least the gameplay after death in R6 never came to be. Thank God it didn't, because otherwise the ghosts would have been extremely dangerous, considering Echo and Maestros would have haunted you in your dreams. But I guess that was just a lackluster effort from their side, but it's still 2-2. They can still take the lead back on, and kudos to the side of RPT as well. Oh no, that's gonna be an Echo drone! No way! Well, I was talking about ghosts, and I just realized that yokai is a synonym for ghost in Japanese, and I guess there are gonna be ghosts after all. The yokai, or should I say the Echo drone, will be a problem for the defenders now. Among Us in real life, but still. I think it is a game room defense this time, so they should have a bit more of a better luck, because they did show off a little bit more flexible gameplay previously. But I do appreciate one thing, Aggie. That is, the attackers are not running any aggressive operators this time around, because look at that, they don't have any more shields. I'm not saying that I do not appreciate the shields, but not having the shields, instead having a gun, does allow you to have a lot more support on your team, instead of having that X factor that, okay, I'm gonna scare the crap out of my opposition and they're gonna be panicking so that I can find an opening. That is a strategy, but how much is it gonna work?
Oh, that is such a good shot. How did he even spike that? They expected it. Apparently, the sound cues on these players are insane. The members of RPT, they transform into a completely different team. Really give them the side, it seems. But now they're making those mistakes. The opening pickups have been found here by the Dokkaebi from the sidelines, and now they need to try and move towards this angle a little bit more. 3v1 now to try and figure things out here. The Capital has no way to get picked up, and the fact is, the Dokkaebi all the way on the opposite side. He needs to try and work his way up, but now this is where the problems really start to happen. The members of RPT, they get a little bit too overzealous in the positions that they are. One player now waiting directly outside of library, and they know the positions pretty much, but with one logic bomb, they get the call, they have the information that they need, and now it's all about holding. Flashes out to try and make this entry happen. Oh no, boy, yeah, this is all but over. Good night, sleep tight, and maybe the bedbugs are going to bite, but nope, the Dokkaebi is going to be able to run away. But at this point, this is just a glorified tack pause, because there's no way you're going to be able to win this round and work your way into the side.
Yeah, I hate to agree, but this is just how it is. 17 seconds from the clock. You can just have your stun pause timer and then bring your team back on the board. Well, no diffuser or anything, just have it easy and maybe try to pick off 1 or 2 frags, even though that's not going to be giving you any benefits whatsoever. It's going to be Maz able to find the last kill, as he had the proper read as well. But boy, oh boy, this was indeed an insane run of the defensive side. They were ready for any form of push, exceptional read from the Warden, I believe, onto that closet side, or should I say the wine storage side, or split, whatever you say. Because at least in my games, I would not have expected anybody to open up the foot level holes because that's really unusual. I mean, it's not like people don't, but most of the time it's just for one kill and that's it. And you will ask yourself at times, ladies and gentlemen, that for one kill, I mean,
Attackers
sadly,
need to
it didn't
locate and
quite
defuse
go
bombs.
well because both the players who peeked that angle and the person who opened up that line of sight, the Maverick, both of them became murderers over there. 2-3 situation in favor of RPT, including a clash on the board. I'm not gonna say I hate the operator, but I have to say she is not oppressive anymore. But she sure hell is annoying now because I don't know, Aggie, if you know, her shield stays active even if she dies. I learned it the hard way. I kid you not.
Yeah, that's why a lot of teams, even in Europe, right, they start banning out Clash as much as they possibly can if they know for a fact that there's a Clash player in the team. And that's why a lot of teams have really started to do this thing instead. They use a Clash at the very last round before the swap happens just to guarantee themselves that one round on that defensive side if the Clash is able to play it properly. Now, let's just see if the members of RPT are going to be able to do it because they're kind of back on the side that they do struggle on quite a little bit because the team just transforms into a completely different roster, right? Those first floor holds coming out from them is so creative, or it could be the lack of experience that the members of Plunder have to really break their entry points over into a site like that. While Windows now opened up, finally the Castle Americans are not going to be able to do as much dash, waiting for that initial entry, and all of the triple pronged approach pretty much is going to be coming in from the members of RBT. They're going to be able trying to run this one down, but Taz immediately going to be able to isolate and go in for the kill one by one. They just keep on falling. The double man hold coming in from Piano is just a little bit too much for the Blitz to handle. He's in a tough spot. So many Pokeballs just flying his way. And it's going to be Taz who just peeks around the corner to get an instantaneous kill. Finding a couple of these openings and a couple of these trades are going to be the members of Plunder. But the thing is, they're just trying to do damage control then. Because this round is all but over. 4v1, and it's going to be your Nomad to try and pull off a miracle.
1v4 for the Nomad, so very much possible considering she has ample amount of HP. No diffuser though, but still, the positioning is something you'll have to work on, or should I say, the defenders will have to focus on. Location reveal, and now the Nomad doesn't have any other place to run away. She's sadly not in knife range, my guy, so you can't quite do much about it. Nomad trying to recover the diffuser probably from the libraries. Oh, no, never mind, it's not the libraries. In that toilet, I kinda not sure if it was Blitz who dropped it, but now location reveal. The Clash knows exactly what's happened. The audio cue is there, and now Nomad just trying to fend off time, burn time. It is the last one before the swap, so there's just not much still have to talk about, or maybe just prepare yourselves for the next round. Okay, never mind. Mute was ready from below. That is insane. The Clash was just being evaded there, nothing else. Good God, the players of RPT, they really came prepared as Plunderstück. I really hope they are ready as well onto their own defensive side as the bans go reset. But I want to know what is gonna be in the minds of RPT when it comes to their attacking rounds. What are they going to ban?
Gonna need to wait and see where it's gonna go here because you can tell that the members of Plunderstück are just a little bit too out of their element when it came down to those couple of rounds. It's sent that over to the Clash. RPT, they have a plan in mind that they want to do, right? They took out the Grim early on because they wanted to play for those first floor fights, and they knew that Grim would be a huge problem for a couple of those fights. So I'm really interested to see what bans are going to be coming out from them because the creativity of this team has me hooked on so many different levels.
Well, it does feel like that we have a reunion of not playing Shields whatsoever, as 4 of the operators who have been banned, 3 of them are Shields. Azami, I understand because she can be annoying on the map of Chalet, but boy, oh boy, I do see exactly what RPT is banking upon. They knew their opposition played that, and now they're just trying to. Sorry, Plunderstück, they did play these particular operators, so they're trying to make sure their opposition doesn't do the same thing, considering there is a Clash player on the board. But now, it does seem like Plunderstück is opting to go for a much more of a basic approach onto this objective. Okay, interesting Mira setup, if you ask me, because it's kind of rare to see a Mira onto jungle. I mean, you would see a lot of players going for a Mira onto the the Solarium wall, or maybe it's also fine because you can probably contest the players from Closet into Solarium as well. But it is all situational in the long run. So a lot of things which does raise my eyebrows, but I do love the setup from the side of the attackers, Aki. As you can see, they do have a much more of a entry-based push because they have the Grim, Deimos. Not gonna talk about the Monty quite yet because I do believe it's going to be available onto the K9 side, but it does look like they are gonna be focusing on that fear factor, understanding that Plunderstück doesn't want any shields on their oppositions.
Let me just see where this is gonna go here. So members of RPT, they're the ones who are in the lead, a 2-round deficit that they have to worry about. Overall,
Solarium.
oh, this is gonna be a big one.
Good.
That's gonna be the opening kill as well. That's the EON now being taken off the board. Yeah, the Grismots are still gonna be there to cause some problems, but I mean, you want to have that Elo weapon on your arsenal because of how strong it is. You can't really give that one up that early on the defensive side.
I'm not quite sure how the defenders are opting to play this. I understand that Ella was going for a roam pick, but I hate to say it, but sometimes playing onto Wine Cellar when it comes to the top row objective, it is kind of common to expect there will be someone. So I do believe the Buck was expecting that. The Ella could have earned a lot more time there, but it's fine still because a refrag, not exactly a refrag, but the equalization has quite come through as the hunter has been hunted. Has is off the board, and now we can see the Monty trying to look for any form of captain traps or any form of traps in general. He does have the diffuser, so chances are very high that he can simply stick it as well. But then again, the Legion is the first line of defense. I do see a OSA. Never mind, it's not an OSA, it's a mirror window. This all, but the particle angles are going to be there as the Buck will spot him out, but the defenders, they are kind of low, except for the Monty as well. So the shield is the last line of defense for him. Attackers playing so slowly and so methodically that Vigil can probably go for a bold play, and he will be able to find something because he knows there is someone who's distracted on his teammate, and finally he will find the shutdown along with the castle as well. And now a very winnable round if you ask me, because the Monty is low on HP with no backup while the Buck is across 7 seas. Will have to recover and rendezvous with the Monty to make it happen. So focusing on this vertical angle, the Mira knows exactly where and what's happening. That's the Solarium. The Monty is there, Aki, but he is not gonna have survival. Never mind though.
Yeah, it was all up to Anarchic. The Monty was just trying to play for the information. As long as the Monty is able to go towards his vertical spots, this is going to be perfect for them. But look at Anarchic. He's kind of expecting this, possibly a shield that's waiting for them on the opposite side of this one. Monty does go for the plan. This is a tough spot to be in. Already being shut down here from the sidelines.
Nice
He does
try.
find one kill, but it's just not going to be enough. Positions are just so much better. Utilizing the shield from the OSA to its fullest degree here too, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you want to see. The members of Plunderstück really causing a lot of these problems and bringing in the pain in more ways than one. I'm kind of surprised as well that the members of RPT didn't really go in for a double-pronged approach from Library or even from the side of Piano when they were trying to enter onto Solarium, because generally what happens is the players from Piano can easily get a good hold over towards the side of Solarium and Bathroom if you don't have any pressure going onto Piano. They kind of put all of their eggs into one basket, hoping that, hey, if you push to Solarium with the Monty, we're easily going to be able to go in for the kills. But every gunfight that they did start to lose, it just showed that the defenders, they just knew how to play under pressure. And none of the members of Plunderstück really strayed away from any of the gunfights that they were taking.
They didn't, because they know that they have been facing the same thing on their own attack, so they are going to be looking for responses, as they are also going for not exactly an unorthodox objective, but a much more of a unique objective, if I might. So, wait a second, seriously? Well, this is a very long time I've seen someone going for a game room defense, but also reinforcing the hash. So, this is an indication they're not going to have too much presence on top, except the fact that they're going to be expanding on the kitchen side, so which is interesting because you will be able to hunker down onto the main mezzanine side, but at the same time, if the attackers opt to go for a library push, they are gonna have 3 vertical angles, and except if they happen to have any can opener, which they do, I do see a can opener in the hands of Deimos, they will have a nearly empty objective as well if the covers are there, of course. Then again, if they are confident with this strategy, I'm okay with it. Entries have already been made by the attackers on top of the toilet side, and now I believe the mute knows, and from the looks of it, verticals are indeed the main point of the game because gridlock has been brought up, so there will be a little bit more pressure onto the mute. He knows exactly where the push is coming from, but I mean, not sure if they have pre-placed C4s though, because if they did, that would have been scary. Okay, no scans quite yet from the side of the Deimos, but still knows exactly where the mute is. The rotations have been called out, so this is kind of sad that so much effort has been put up to hold on to the kitchen side, but it has been into shambles in a matter of seconds. And now they're forced to play from blue stairs and probably from the main stairs as well to take any form of advantage. Interesting client cam from the side of Twitch. I believe that was not a Twitch zone. Never mind. So the defenders kind of want to know, like, what was the point with that extension?
I mean, I guess they wanted to cause a little bit of panic on the side of the attackers. They extended not only on the first floor, but over towards the side of basement, but they didn't use as many players when it came down to the second floor. They want them to use the vertical lines of sight to just waste a lot of time up there. I don't know. Maybe they're just playing those mind games, right? That hey, if you don't get any kills on vertical, you're not going to jump into the side until the very last couple of seconds, right? You're going to wait until 40 seconds and then make a move maybe onto his first move position. But look at how the gridlock already went in for the setup. No one can really try and fight into them. That's the opening kill that the members of RPT needed. They have the entirety of the second floor now under control. And Plunderstück, they made a lot of those mistakes, but look at the positioning from the side of the mute. The mute pretty much knee deep now in enemy territory. If he finds a couple of these opening frags, he should be able to find a double. His timing is accurate on this one.
He is impeccable on this timing, I have to admit, because no one is expecting him. And on top of that, the Wumai being on the kitchen side as well, this is going to surround the attackers when they're going for a commitment. So now they are the ones who are surrounded, even though they have no idea whatsoever. The Miz going to find the opening one, and now the Capital is trying to go for a plan because there is not much time to go for. There is a cover attempt from the Deimos, but still the frags are due to be coming in. 4v2 situation, but still a lot of time. So no time whatsoever to go in for the commitment. The plan is still not going down, and now it is all up to the Goyo to hold onto this area, and probably he will be fine, but never mind. It is going to be none other than the Deimos just diving in and confirming the kill as the Capital took control of the bar side. Holy moly, they did time it perfectly after all, pushing onto the kitchen side and then going for the plan. Nice attempt by the Goyo, but sadly for the Wamai, he was spotted out on the dying seconds as well. Otherwise, it could have been much more flexible for the defensive side. 5-3 in the favor of the side of RPT.
You gotta need to see where this is gonna go for this one. It's a huge issue to say the very least. There's too many variables to consider, too many positions for the members of Plunderstück to really hold on to. They're playing those mind games, and I like what they were trying to do because I kind of understood what they were planning because they know whenever the vertical lines of sight are open, no attacker is ever going to push onto the side until the very last second. And that's exactly what happened, right, Crystal? They waited until like 12 seconds to really make that attack push happen for themselves. But that's kind of the thing. You lost out on one of your players before that mark even happened, and that's the risk of letting go of those vertical lines of sight. Yeah, the mute was able to find an opening kill over from the silence, but that's because the attackers were just not prepared in those positions. They had the setup ready, but they just couldn't do much with it. This is tough, to say the very least. The members of Plunderstück, they're making the right calls, but their overall execution for a lot of their strategies is just not up to the mark.
Yeah, that's something I couldn't have said better myself for the time being. But then again, Plunderstück, they are going for a basement defense, so I do believe they're gonna have a bit more of flexibility because they can indeed do the common stuff better. Wait a second, it just reminds me of something, Aggie. Why are they not playing Capcan? Considering the fact that in Chalet and Border in particular, there are some I don't know, the fire lines thingies or the explosive pipes right next to the entry walls. And if the attacker somehow ignores or doesn't check a particular angle, you technically have a free angle because that Captain Trap is gonna give him 60 damage, and on top of that, as that explosive barrel goes off, it gives extra 40 or sometimes a little bit more. I think I'm not quite sure with the numbers, but it does have
30
flame
actually.
damage.
Isn't
Yes,
it
give or
30?
take. I forgot actually because it has tick damage. So
Yeah.
I was focused a lot more on that when it comes to my own game. So apologies for that. But so that actually does make life a lot more easier for Capcan
Absolutely.
mains because these are common Capcan angles, of course, but if the opposition are unaware, you are gonna be golden. But then again, I'm not gonna be expecting any of these players to be unaware because of the way they are playing. They are not ready to lose whatsoever. They are putting up the fight to their opposition. But for now, I do love how the defenders spread across the map. There is the Raura on top to put up some distractions. He will open up the Raura while just barricade just because he can. But
Did he
looks like
not
this is
see
gonna
the
be a
player
full
in the
on.
corner?
I believe he did. He's just acting like he didn't do because sometimes players do act so that the drone stays safe. I believe at least.
Ah, yes. I stand so still that I'm now invisible. Drax moment. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't think invisibility is going to be the case here coming in for the members of RPT because they're dropping like flies one after the next. The SMG-12 causing some
nice shot.
damage, but the trades are still there. Admers, he's going to be able to get this opening pickup from the sidelines. One player is going to be over towards the garage line. They have to worry about this because Roxy did go in for the kill on one of those players. That SMG-12 is just such a difficult weapon to fight into, and that's one of the main reasons why Warden, even though I know you hate Warden a lot, but even after all of his nerfs, he's still so good just because he has that weapon in his arsenal.
It just gives me Vietnam War vibes when I remember that he had a 1.5 on that gun without any recoil. But look at Proxy! Doesn't even need that! I'm double kill with an SMG-12.
Oh my god!
He is a monster and he is living in his own world. SMG-12, after all. 1v1's taken and won. Proxy. Good god. 5-2, 5-4, and Plunderstück slowly but surely creeping back on the board. And now we have the second and the last ban of this half, or should I say, for this map in particular. Whatever happens here, Aggie, is gonna continue into overtime, if overtime is in equation as well. But good god, Proxy, you're a monster.
Yeah, that one weapon is just such a big issue. That's kind of the thing, right? Warden by himself is not that good of an operator, but as soon as you pick him up and you have that SMG-12 in your hands, it's just a completely different story.
Just
That
like
gun
Amaru.
kicks like a mule, but good god, if you can control it, this weapon has nothing that can try and stop it. It's on level with the AK-12 as well from the side of the attackers because of that extreme fire rate. You can almost guarantee a headshot in almost every single turn, and even if you don't get a headshot, the incredible fire rate just guarantees you a kill in a matter of seconds, and you can go in for multi-frags as well compared to the SMG-11, which doesn't have enough bullets to even make it work out. It's just insane to say that. Okay, so there's a reason why I say that Dokapy is one of the strongest attackers in the entire game, and she has to be a must ban or a must pick on every single map because she has the DMR, one of the best DMRs in the entire game. She has the SMG-12 as a secondary. She can get EMPs and probably has the best attacker gadget that only has one downside. You can't use it right at the very beginning of the game anymore like you used to. I can go on a tangent about Dokapy all the time, and a lot of teams just don't pick her up because they believe that they're not going to get a lot of value.
You forgot the fact that she can also hack cameras. Just
Oh, yeah,
imagine
right,
if you
right,
happen
right,
to
right.
find a phone from a defender. All the cameras, all the Maestro Equalizer, whatever you have, which apparently gives you direct information, will be taken out by Dokapy instantaneously. Because at least for Brava, yes, you do lose that, of course. But for Brava, you need to hack that particular object. And yes, you have full control or full authorization of it. Dokapy doesn't have full authorization, but trust me when I say, in a game of Siege, Intel is overpowered. And that's pretty much you need. You don't quite need an evil eye to zap a clash as we used to see back in the majors or 6 invitationals. But if you have the information while the defender's hands are down, you're just gonna be fine. You don't even need to drone. Considering the fact that all the attackers have 2 drones, and of course you have 3 intel, technically, if you can keep your drones alive. You don't need that, and that allows you so much more time as an attacker. And now looks like that's gonna be a primary target from the attackers. Never mind, it's not gonna be because they were focused on the K9 side, but looks like they have their first casualty onto the Sens and a double down from the side of the Legion as well. A refrag attempt from the Grim, but not quite sure how that's gonna go down because Roxy is playing it safely. And now I was expecting it to be
Was
something
that the
else, but never
garage
mind.
run out?
Proxy.
Yeah, that was the garage run out,
Yeah, it
wasn't
was. It was. It was on the open claymore he put up.
That's a good catch here. The Warden instantly pretty much acting like glass, just able to find a lot of the space. Timing is present. I'm pretty sure that they know exactly what the angle for these players are, but they still have to worry about it. Positions primed and ready. It's gonna be the Mute who has the advantage with the Ash with a quick peek. That's what the 3-speed does to you, ladies and gentlemen. The fast speed compared. It's not gonna be an easy shot to take. The Ash does equalize things out, but the problem is they still have a lot of ground to cover. 1 minute left on the clock. Trophy room now under full control. I do believe they do have a couple of drones just clearing everything out, but the Ash needs to get into position. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to go in for this fight just yet.
This is just gonna be a little bit more difficult now with considering the fact that they don't have proper map control of the objective. I do see the Grim finally jumping in along with the Monty as well, but the Ash is the 1 HP, so is the Legion. But if they can somehow take control of Kitchen and cover from West Main, perhaps they will be just fine going for the plan and extend the timer. But then again, there is still a player behind the half wall, and I believe he is a solo player, and that is going to be the only line of defense, the defensive side for the time being, except for the fact that if they have someone from the top four onto the plant spot. And yes, the Warden is in the vicinity, but I'm damn sure they kind of are expecting that line to come in. The Legion's going to go down, and now 2 players remaining. The castle knows
he
exactly
dies.
where and what's happening.
the
There's going to
Legion.
be... Ooh, the wall! And the planting now as well. I think the Monty went down the ghoul mine here, ladies and gentlemen. That is so sad. The Legion, he was taken out, but from the grave, the ghoul mines were active, and a 5-5 equalization does come in as Plunderstück is able to slap back on their defense. And now RPT, good attempt though, but still the Warden and the castle doing an amazing job to keep themselves alive. It's just splendid, and it is going to be the force which will keep them alive and moving it forward as well. I'm not sure which team is going to take the lead, Eddie. That's why I'm having a lot of double thoughts. But Dokkaebi is here. I think they'll heard you loud and clear.
Absolutely. They have to pick up on this agent if they really want to take a lot of these open fights against these defenders, because one of the biggest problems that a lot of teams face, right, is they have to utilize a lot more of their drone economy to clear out those roamers. And generally the roamers are not instantly going to die, right? They're going to waste a lot of the drone, they're going to waste a lot of the utility, and then they're going to run back on towards the side, or they're going to die in the process trying to go in for a kill. What the Dokkaebi does is just allows you to use one logic bomb to instantly get information of where the players are. Then you can save a lot more of your drone economy. You don't have to send your drones out a lot more thinner across the entire map. Instead, you can focus out one singular position, get those kills, guarantee the fact that, hey, the defenders have to make a choice. Either they run away or they take that fight. And it's gonna be the case, but at the same time, it's not. Again, Dokkaebi not gonna get picked up here. And I do believe this might be another big mistake from the members of RPT. But look at the spawn peak position coming out from the side of Legion. He's waiting for an opening kill. And I love this aggression coming in from them, because they understand that that opening first kill over towards RPT is an instant, instant stop to anything that they could be mounting moving forward.
We're surely focusing on that undoubtedly, as the Vigil now knows there's a huge threat staying alive, staying here on the library side. Complications, but then again, they're trying to keep themselves alive. The Scope was playing with fire, but still will be able to fall back as well. Not sure where the Talos or Colossus is. Put a bit more of an unorthodox positioning, but still the Twitch zone finding proper values, getting rid of the utilities, and maybe allow the Ace to go for breaches as well. So it does look like a much more of a standard gameplay on this objective. Monty already in the vicinity of the line of sight, and looks like he might be contesting the castle after all, unless the castle goes for a cheeky plan reinforces right on his face, but it's not going to be the case because the Monty can definitely peek and kill him. But I love how the drone works are coming out from the attacking side. I guess they kind of are focusing on this particular factor so that they do not need the Dokkaebi. So maybe it is going to be something they're gonna be much more reliant on. Opening up the kitchen wall to make sure there are no C4 attempts coming in when it comes to the plan. But still, that is one Selma down. I believe that is one Selma. Yeah, it is one Selma going down, and now they kinda should know that they do not have any utilities on that mezzanine wall to allow them to open up and go in for the take on the half wall. Here's the player onto the piano, and that is Rook falling back as well. The Monty's taking insane space here. And somehow the defenders are respecting this as well because they're just giving space for free. And now the defenders will find something, but the refract comes instantaneously. Oh, nice shot from the Vigil as he will confirm the kill as well. The plant is indeed going down, but still the problem is where are the defenders' answers? Turtle strategy coming in, the plan successful, and now just play post.
Good shot, this Boss G.
Oh, darn it, and now it's all over the Twitch. The TIGN operators, never mind, the Monty is already dead. Twitch with the DMR knows exactly where the players are, but the problem is there's too much pressure on him, and now I don't know if this Scopos knows. Now he knows, of course. Well, no utilities and a completely clean reach for a retake as well. Sadly, there were no players on K9 window. Had there been, it would have been a much more feasible one, but kind of sad as Plunderstück takes the driver's seat and puts the players of RPT on the back seat. 6-5 and map point for the side of Plunderstück.
Just insanity to say the very least. Plunderstück going down from a 2-0, down over to a 2-2, then a 4-2, and now RPT, they're on the receiving end of all of the hurt. Almost 4 rounds consecutively that they have lost. Not 4 rounds consecutively, sorry. It was 3 rounds consecutively, then they won 1 round, and then now it's going to be another win for the members of Plunderstück. This is insane coming out from them because the amount of adaptation that we have seen from them from the very start of the game up till now, you can see that the team is evolving with each and every turn that they take. They're playing it a lot more better. They're playing much more together as a team. And this is a roster that we were missing when it came down to the first initial couple of rounds. It is beautiful to watch that the evolution of a team that can happen at any moment in any particular game. But what I'm a bit more saddened about is the members of RPT. They're, again, like the same problem as previously on the defensive side. They're putting all of their eggs into one basket. They're relying on one strategy a little bit too much, and they're playing by the book as well a little bit too far too. It's either they play for those lower floors. They did really well, mind you, getting full control of the kitchen positions and playing for the vertical lines of sight. But the thing is, you're trying to play for vertical, but you don't have any vertical ops to do that. Why in the name of God did you want to try and clear out the roamers over towards the border floor with this much utility when you don't have any control over towards the side of Solarium, and you try to brute force your way from mezzanine without any pressure from the bedroom? That's a recipe for disaster if I've ever seen.
For certain, but that's something they'll have to realize on their own, because otherwise they're just gonna be burning a lot of time going for something which is not that important. I mean, I understand that clearing out the roamers, going for proper vertical angles, or should I say, putting pressure on the defenders are important. There is no denial of that, but if you are focused on that, your main primary objective is to go for the objective. Maybe focus on clearing things out and play the post plan as well, but that is really not seeming like it for the time being from the attackers, because somehow even now you can see that they're taking some time to go for the open up onto the kitchen side. I understand they're expecting players there, but you know, there is a drone hole right next to the kitchen wall on the exterior side above I think it was above French. So if you could have used that, that does give you a lot more time to go for the commitment of the objectives. And now you have lost your Capital as well, which could have been a good operator when it comes to a mirror clearance, or should I say to open up angles onto the main side. But now they have confirmations. There's flanks coming in, and now with the hatch open, there will be an eagle vision coming. What are you going to do? Look how funny, you're gonna be struck by the lightning, by the thunder gods, and that's exactly what happened. There were drones! There were drones!
You even knew that they were coming onto the first floor. You dropped the hatch yourself and then you went onto the drone. What the hell are you doing? The pressure is getting towards the members of RPT. And now on this match point, they're just leaking everything. The poor old Mute nearly got his head chopped off there from the angle. Maybe a little bit too aggressive here. Making the mistakes. 2v3 now, presented an opportunity to really try and get a comeback onto this round. the positions of a couple of one of these players. They're gonna try to go in for the pre-fire soon. The Thermite able to open up the wine wall, but the thing is, what are they gonna do? They're again stuck in one singular position. They have so much utility to go through. The Tubarao is
gonna
still
trigger
present
the
as well. He can even do whatever the hell they want. Like, this is insanity to say the very least. The Tubarao still has 2 charges spread. He doesn't have to worry about a damn thing.
On the brighter side of life, 2 players are kind of low on HP. They do not quite need to peek, except for the Legion. The Legion can also like.
Oh my
never mind,
God.
Cloudy! It's simply gonna Kobe the players out of existence. The C4 will be tossed in, and both Thermite and Thatcher, the age-old duo, will be sent into the grave. And now it's gonna be Plunderstück, who did have a very rough start, but regardless, they were able to put themselves back on the top on defensive side. Holy moly! But RPC, as dominant they were on the first half, somehow they kind of lost themselves on the second because somehow it felt like they're not communicating. But then again, it might have been a panic attack. It was kind of a rush hour for them that we don't have much
Absolutely.
time. We have to clear the objectives. We have to go for the plan, the yada yada yada, and they just found too short for themselves. But then again, good fight on the side of RPC, but Plunderstück. Well, they were ready for a surprise, and they surely as hell delivered on the map of Chalet.
Absolutely. The comeback from this team, especially after what we witnessed in round number 1 and round number 2, was a very big and pleasant surprise, to say the very least. They showcased to us that as a team, they may have a slow start, but if you let them get to that late game position where they understand your strategies, they understand what you're trying to do, you're instantly going to be in for a world of pain. And they got into the heads of RPT. You can tell, like, RPT just had no idea where to go or where to set up because they kept on doing the exact same thing over and over again. They played textbook Siege, but textbook Siege up against the members of Plunderstück just does not work. And map number 2, it's going to be Lighthaven Labs, a map that awards really good team synergy and, of course, good basics of fundamental Siege. So are they going to be able to take this fight, take over map number 2, and send us over onto Cathay? We're going to be finding that one out real shortly, ladies and gentlemen, as we go over into a very short little break to set everything up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with a lot more R6 action.
separates your shadows from my soul as these walls begin to fall. Head lost in the silence, cold stars illuminate the secrets on your tongue and the poison in my lungs. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth. Blind eyes in the darkness, frail hands reaching out, sword echoes in the smoke as the doors behind me close. No cure for the madness, each turn tangled in the fear of losing sight of the slowly fading light. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the EON League, and map number 2 for this extravaganza of a BO3 is just about to begin one more time. And good God, map number 1 was a roller coaster of emotions, starting off from a 2-0 for the side of RPT, going down over to Plunderstück, taking the map on a 5-7 scoreline, something that we didn't really expect. But RPT, are they going to be back for map number 2? Is going to be one of those bigger questions, because a lot of mistakes did happen from their side where they, again, put all their eggs into one basket and they played good siege. Like, I won't say that like they did something wrong. They did it right, but they did it a little bit too right. Like, you know how in siege now, especially in siege X, creativity kind of like reigns king. You play good siege, you're gonna be able to clear out the roamers. But what are you gonna do after you clear out the roamers? The members of RPT didn't even think of that, so their execution strategy just came to running around like headless chickens, hoping that they would find a kill under the roamers. So let's say in an ideal world, you don't get any of those kills. What are you gonna do then? And that's what the members of Plunderstück just utilized. They didn't allow those kills to happen. They were all able to rotate back in towards the side. So the members of RPT, they were just like sitting ducks. They had no plan on what to do next unless they got the kill. And relying on that first opening kill, yeah, it can work, but not when your overall strategy is to kill out the roamers. You need to kill a player inside of the site and make sure your set plays and set plans are done so. And hopefully, as we're going to be going on to Nighthaven Labs, a map that is a little bit more notorious for those roams, for those flanks, Dogebi will get picked up, players will get positioned out in a lot more different ways. And as the map is just about to begin, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited to see on where this one's going to go.
So this can go in a lot of fashions, actually, because when it comes to Nighthaven Labs, a lot of players have plays for the casual player, should I say the book play, for example, going for the default walls, going for the opening angle, the flank cutoffs, and then going for the plants and whatnot. But there are a lot of ways to be creative in the map Nighthaven Labs, because some people don't quite understand how destructible that map is, especially on the bottom objectives, except for the top floor. Because yes, you can't quite want to go. You don't want to go for vertical angles where you'll have to go into the storage room, you have to go for the game room and whatnot, and maybe just in case you have to walk up to the fountain stairs and possibly find something inside of the objective. But when it comes to the other objectives, you can be creative. You can put up angles where the defenders will be left scratching their heads. So these are just factors usually teams come up with, and they go that extra mile to put themselves on the top. It depends if RPT can put themselves on that driver position, because truth be told, they need it more than ever. Even though I'm not sure if the UIs have been updated, but it should be showing that Plunderstück has one map on their board. But I guess it's a technical difficulty, so apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. But on this map, I'm not sure again which team chose it, but it is where RPT will have to focus on those particular factors. And as you said, Aggie, yes, they can probably go for the early picks, which they have found success on several rounds. For example, on the first attacking round they were able to pick off the Ella, but what's next? You have the opening pick, you have the manpower advantage, but guess what? The clock is not favoring you in any shape or fashion. You have to push the objective, or maybe you eliminate all the players, or at least allow yourself enough space to go for that commitment. The biggest problem is, even with the Monty creating immense amount of space, there is actually not much players to support the Monty to take and utilize those particular spaces. Because otherwise, what is the point of playing Monty? I think you can agree on this with me, Aggie.
Absolutely. There has to be a game plan in mind after you take over that space. And you can tell that Plunderstück in a couple of the rounds that they did pick up
10
on the
seconds left
Monty,
before insertion.
like there's still gonna be a chance and an opening for it.
5 seconds remaining.
But I guess like we're talking a little bit more about map number 1, right? They're gonna
Attackers
have
are
to wait
moving
and
out
see
to
what's gonna
locate a
happen in
bomb
map
and
number
defuse
2.
it.
Maybe RPT have a better plan for this particular map, and Plunderstück just played the map of Chile better. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's wait to see what they're really gonna be bringing onto the table, especially after they went back to the drawing board for map number 2. So it's a lot of buts and ifs, but knowing the members of RPT, this attack side, if it works out well for them, their defensive end looks to be very powerful.
For certain, considering the fact that there is also an Azami on the board, and I forgot to highlight that, because Azami definitely very annoying to play against, but at the same time, having an Azami does give you an advantage of, as a defender at least, play really risky angles. But at the same time, considering the fact there is a lot of DMRs on the defensive side, the Zami is not going to be lasting too long. But what else is not going to be lasting? It's going to be the bug taken out by Proxy. But the refrag attempt is going to be there, but it's going to be Mars also being taken out. But the nades is going to be dispatched. But the Jaeger is pretty much in safe heaven. There's so much angle. He can just play off the Lion. He's gonna have to have some backup, and yes, he will with the shieldy Voimont. He will bonk him on the face and take him out completely. And now, V4 situation. There is no Claymore, sadly, so they could have put something under the head, but that does leave room for the rotations. Problems are there for the attackers, but at least they have some form of answers. But time is ticking, and they still, again, Aggie, are not taking proper map control. The Monty is there all by himself on the garage side, sorry, the storage side, but now looks like they're going to be going for a complete reset and going for Fountain instead. I understand why, but if you want to commit Fountain, you still need some form of control of storage, so who's gonna contest that?
We're just gonna have to wait and see where this is gonna go for them. It's a 3v4. I don't know how to try and even analyze the situation in a way that the attackers can try to get a big pick off here, because they have so much ground to cover. And you have to go through a Mira in the Zombie and a Fenrir, whose FNATs are still on the board, mind you. There's so many different things that you have to worry about to try and get this setup done for yourself. But overall, play is present, and maybe there's a couple of players who can make something happen here. The Lion. Okay, they still have 2 Lion scans, right? Maybe they can make this one work. One good scan, and he's going to be able to force his way up. Nope, that's not going to happen. Immediately, players in towards the back of the glass, trying to deal some damage over from the sidelines. Monty able to hold on to the space, but the thing is, the players, they're not hunting him down.
I love
C4, no, the position, but no!
Never mind.
Murdered his own teammate. 2v3, ladies and gentlemen. Still presented an opportunity to maybe go in for a big clutch here. Cloudy over from the sidelines. The Monty causing some pressure and some problems over from the lines. But Cloudy still able to come in for the big save. Another player was actually down the back. So this round was a little bit too close for comfort. But good God, that C4 play really shook up the entire map.
I can't even blame the mute here whatsoever, because he was focusing on the Monty. The other player was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna take the kill just because I can, and he was the martyr there. Good God, this is something you just do not expect. But then again, It is an indication how confident Plunderstück is that they would rather walk into their own teammates C4 than giving their opposition any form of space. Because again, the Monty
Attackers
is
need to
there
locate
on the
and
board,
defuse as many
not
bombs as they
creating
can.
enough space. The Monty is doing his job, but there is no backup whatsoever. Mind you, ladies and gentlemen, Flash and Monty, they are indeed annoying operators, but they are not strong when it comes to individual gunplay. Because think about it, Blitz can, of course, Flash plays and can play solo. I'm not gonna say Fuse Shield is even considerable, even though some people would. Blackbeard can indeed support himself because he has the rifle. He can stun players back or with the explosive charge he has. But for Monty, the only thing you can do is extend and burn time. And considering the fact that there have been a nerf to Monty a couple of maybe 2 seasons ago, where he cannot hold on to the melee damages instant for infinite times, you need support with Monty. I mean, Clash is reworked, of course, but then again,
Wait!
I want to see this. I want to see how an interrogation works, actually. It's been a very long time I haven't seen Godly News videos, but let's see if we get the opportunity to rise up here again. There is nobody in the vicinity, though, but still. Oh, sad, sad, sad. Okay, now Cav knows there's someone, but anywho, the Buck might be very much oblivious about the Cav's location, but I want to focus on this in particular.
I want to see where this cab is going to take us on an adventure or possibly down over towards the grave is going to be a real question because in pro play, seeing a cab being utilized now, that is something that doesn't happen as often, but if it does work, that's like ample amounts of information. It's high risk, high reward.
He's going
That's why
for
a lot
it,
of players
Eddie!
say, oh, god damn it, he's coming after the Buck. Positions ready. Interrogation. That's a free one right there. Every single player now open up across the map, ladies and gentlemen, and it's open hunting season for the members of Plunderstück.
The shotgun's in the hand. IQ's trying to survive, but I don't think it's gonna be the case. Yes, he will, though, but still with very slither of an HP left. I thought Aggie's gonna join me saying interrogation, but never mind. Bit chill there, Aggie. I'm gonna take revenge on that later, but I didn't hear. But anyways, it is going to reset the attacker's complete. Wait a second. Wait. They all left the objectives to get the kill, and now they're coming back to the objective with the same angle.
They got the kill as well on the vertical. Oh my god.
And it reminds me of my school days, you know, after the national anthem, we used to go back to our classes.
Oh,
You know.
God.
Oh, good God. Well,
And they're having fun. Like, that's how you play R6, right? Even in a tournament game where the stakes are so high, you gotta make sure to have fun whenever you're going up against your opposition here. Still chance and opportunity presented. A couple of pop shots being given from the left and from the right here. As Monty able to create some space, but ooh, threading the needle out perfectly. Position's good and it's better. Overall, that's gonna be the members of RPT just being sent back to the drawing board for that one. They just couldn't do much to try and hold on to the line here. Especially with Plunderstück using that Kavera. I don't think that they were ready for a play like that. I don't think even they knew about the Kavera because no one even droned her.
I don't think she was drawn or she was probably hiding in a corner or something to
He's
dodge
doing
the
it again.
drones because I don't think it's gonna happen again. So I do believe this time it's gonna be a bit more it's gonna be a lot more risky because there is a Dokkaebi on board, but you know, I do appreciate the fact that they're not bringing them Monty anymore because
Attackers need to
I love
locate
how
and
the
defuse
players
as
of
many
RPG
bombs
are
as they
playing.
can.
Please mind you that, but do you see how solo the Monty's playing? Again, Monty can find insane values if you have something or someone following up the Monty, or at least taking space, or at least baiting the Monty. Because
Attackers
think about it,
discovered the
Monty is an
location of a
operator
bomb.
who is literally standing there and telling you, "Shoot me, I dare you." Even though you're probably losing out bullets as well, you're giving a location and whatnot, but wait a second, it's gonna happen. Do we actually get to see a Ying being brought out by the attackers? I want
This
to believe.
might be okay. If this Ying is gonna be so big, if the Ram is able to find a good opening here, they need to play the verticals out properly. And if they do, this Ying is gonna decimate everything on that bottom floor, and that's gonna allow. If I don't believe they have a Monty. If they have a Monty here, that Monty would have been able to run in for free utilizing the Ying. But instead, they
I
picked up the
mean-
Dokkaebi. That's completely fine because you utilize the Dokkaebi calls to really set up those Yin Candelas, right? So, in a way, it's gonna work, but who's gonna take over the space? You don't have anyone to take over the space that you're gonna create by playing those vertical angles.
That is true, but I do believe there's one more way, Aggie. That is, if they can put up the ram on the plant and put up a boogie as well nearby where the plant's going down, you can indeed muffle the sound of the plant, and you're technically
True,
going to be
actually.
having an open objective because Ying can still see through the flashes, unlike any other operator. But I guess this is not the case, as the drone will be betrayed, as there is an Azami barrier, but finally it will be let in. But Azami is still putting up a lot of pressure from the top floor on the panopticon or the catwalks, taking their sweet time and maybe being too much overzealous, because I wouldn't peek that line of sight if I were him, considering the fact that there's a player onto the small entry. I'm not sure what it's called, I forgot, but okay, looks like the players the defensive side were also ready for this, as they also have a warden, so the Yings are technically useless against him, as there's no way in hell they're gonna be able to find the kills, but never mind, it's gonna be the Azami will be the first line of contact taken out, as well as the top floor will be a little bit more easier to commit, but I am not quite sure if this is gonna be a focus onto the top floor to go for verticals or whatsoever. Time is ticking, and I kind of want to say the attackers, they should be able to have free entry onto the storage, or the what's it called, the storage side, yeah, but they're still just burning candelas on a warden, so it's basically
Doesn't have Candelas in.
yeah, it's on a warden, man.
Yeah, I don't think he knows that it's awarded. There was no drones nearby to try and catch on to him. Their drone economy looks horrible. They have nothing.
Only one from Dokkaebi. Hopefully. There's the chance. There's the hope. It is the hard counter taken. Oh no! Wait,
Okay.
he's injured? Yeah, he is
Oh,
injured.
he's got two! Wait. Never mind, he got
Godly
three!
noob!
No, goddamn wait, he got three there! This one Chimera just pretty much went in for the limelight. They looking for the last one. Immediately goes in for the shutdown, ladies and gentlemen. It's all up to the cab to be the man, the myth, the legend for this entire thing. Doesn't really have the gadget to really give her those mass footsteps to work their way up. Two players very low on HP. They need the clearance for this one. Timing is precious for him, but he missed out on the shot. Could have been a big play, but it just did not work out in the way that you would have wanted. Positioning was good though, but he dodged out the bullets at the very last second. That one whiff, that's gonna haunt him for a while.
He could have waited for the timer to hit triple zeros. Ay. You know, there's the fact that if you injure someone, yes, it is good. It is good that you didn't go hungry and didn't confirm the kills. But at the same time, you gotta realize that the person who's down on the floor are technically discount drones, because they are just gonna be giving them their teammates calls. That's it, as long as they bleed out. So now he knew that the thermite was down. Couldn't burn the time, but it's okay. The Caveira is still gonna be very much alive as we get to see Froxy in action again. But then again, the godly noob, even though he's still a YouTuber, but still, he is still pretty much on his essence. Almost a 1v5 from his side. And now RPT is back, is hopefully back, able to take one more round on their equation. But now, that's also going to allow the defenders, to go for a previous objective. Previously, they didn't have a Caveira. Instead, they were focused a little bit more onto that fountain side with the... and I don't know, maybe it was... I can't really remember actually. There was a Valkyrie, I do believe. There was an Azami, there was a Fender and a Mute as well. Maybe a Legion, I'm not sure, but anywho. The attackers. Oh. Not picking up the Monty anymore, going for head-on frags. Appreciable, but again, question. What does the Ram serve here?
I have no clue. Did they get bamboozled? There's no way, right, that the drones didn't spot out the site. Did they think that the site was in towards basement or even the bottom floor?
I want to believe that they did.
It could be, right?
Don't tell me. No, wait. Never mind. I think they're just hunting the players down because they might be expecting some form of roamers or something. We don't have confirmation. If they have spotted out the players, now they know there is someone above. At least this should give away the confirmation the objective is above. Caveira. Again, playing like a sneaky person. The Maverick is down on the floor, but will be picked right back up as the mute has been taken out. But I think it's gonna be Aggie's expectation finally, as we will be getting to see that strategy. The TikTok videos, smoke coming in, and the Maverick goes to the breach, and you know it makes a lot more OP because Maverick also has smoke grenades. But anywho, it is gonna be one player. Of course, it's gonna be Anarchic.
I believe the Cavs also gonna get a shotgun removed soon, so that's gonna be
Hey,
another big
serious?
thing. Yeah, there was apparently a talk about Cavs shotgun getting removed recently, but we're gonna be talking more about that later on because the Glass already in towards the forward position. The Cav can't really do much now. Where is this Cav gonna go? Down over to a 2v3 situation. This is where the Cav just really doesn't have a lot to give on towards around here. Immediately just gets shut down, and Proxy kind of feeling the problems of having that Caveira. RPT, they're playing as if they know the Caveira is going to be waiting for them on
Nice
the opposite
shot.
side. Good shot over towards Taz to shut him down almost immediately, but with the Deimos now tracking him, they have all the information in the entire world to fight up against this, and unless he finds a miraculous shot here to try and take down this Deimos, he's going to have a tough time trying to find this fight. Oh,
For certain.
almost.
Angles are really good, but he's low on HP as well. He needs to take 2 fronts at the same time. The Buck is kind of playing with fire, but then again, the Buck is playing it safe. I love what I see, but no shots are connecting whatsoever. The
This is
T-Bone
good!
He's
Oh,
reminded,
no!
yes, almost is 1 HP. And now all he needs to do is just connect 1 shot to the leg even. The player is not being spotted. He's just playing with his fire, and there you have it. 1v1 situation. The Buck being very careful. The flashes are going to be dispatched. Full flash as well. And now the Buck is really confused.
no
Where
idea.
this Valkyrie might be. And look at that! Just hitting the deck and hitting the grass and finding the player as well. Good God, nobody expected that to happen. The Valkyrie was a slither HP, and Plunderstück is gonna make sure the Plunder stays up. Not sure if the Stuck's gonna be coming in because Stuck is just an item of Deutsch. But good God, the attackers, they kind of paid too much respect to that one singular Valkyrie. They knew exactly where he was. The Deimos didn't need to hit the deck. He could have pushed him. It could have been a crossfire. Nice try though, but RPT, wake up call. Because otherwise, the momentum will completely belong in the favor
Attackers
of
need to
Plunderstück.
locate and defuse bombs.
It's just insane what the members of Plunderstück can do if you just give them the chance to do it. That's good God, ladies and gentlemen, every single turn that I take, I'm just more and more surprised at what they're bringing onto the table. Time in, time out. You can tell that Plunderstück as a team is just in a league of their own. That's for certain, especially when it comes to the individual plays from the players. They're so different in the way that they approach these things. But overall, you can tell that the setups looks nice from them as well. Yeah, the Caveira is
Yes.
maybe a little bit too, I would say, ambitious, but maybe Proxy just wants to show off that he's a really good Cav. And hey, when it works, right? But now that your opponents are expecting it, it's gonna be tough to make this Cav interrogation work.
Deploying heartbeat sensor.
But maybe with this pulse, he can get all the information that he needs and get a free interrogation in the process.
I mean, they are outside, so I'm not quite expecting them to get at least give information for the interrogation, but at least there will be confirmation that there's a lot of presence outside as the Thermite is eyeballing that wall of animals to be taken out in a matter of seconds. There are no utilities to be brought out to deny that breach whatsoever, so a catcher is technically a key pick, but the main point is that I think Proxy is just trying to find style points there so that he can just show it off. Oh, no, 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 no,
What
no,
are you
no.
looking at? What are you looking at?
Yeah, the...
My brother in Christ.
He was trying to look. He was trying to hide actually.
Oh, he gets an interrogation. Wait, what?
He still finds it? I didn't see it.
Yeah, he got the interrogation. Look at the pings across the map. They have to immediately book it out of the side. They can't risk this. And looking at the position from the Caveira as well, he can instantly go in for a run out and possibly a kill if he wants to. But this is going to be a risky play at that. Ladies and gentlemen, the Caveira somehow working the wonders here. Sitting inside of the corner. Drones pretty much are not going to be able to clear him out whatsoever either. We just need someone to create a little bit of pressure to just alleviate this from the side of the Caveira. He's going to be peeking out. He's going to be running up. He's going to be shot. But no. He kills his teammate in the process. Friendly fire enabled, ladies and gentlemen. It's
No,
Plunderstück.
actually. But
It's
anyway,
technically
yeah.
friendly fire, but you know. No, I meant in the terms of like him getting the kill. Like Foxy pretty much guaranteed a kill, right? So even if he died,
Yep.
he found 2 kills in the process.
That he did. That he did. Well, at
Even
least even the
Cloudy,
players are dropping it. I love it, man.
they're having fun. I love it.
And now, the age-old duo of Rainbow Six Siege since year one, the Thermite and the Thatcher against the newbies. Can they show off how experienced they are since the very first year of the game? Or are they gonna fall to the newbies like Mozzie and Azami? Looks like it's gonna be the case after all. Now it's all up to the old dog. It is gonna be none other than Thatcher. Might find isolations, but the problem is he knows exactly where he is. Diffuser in hand as well, but the Thatcher needs to find proper timing. The Azami's just playing with
That's an
his
instant
food
rotation.
now. Well, that is not bad. No, the timing! No! Why would you let go of that angle, you poor? If you wanna play Exo, just play Exo. Why are you holding split, my guy? Nice try though, but Plunderstück, real good attempt from their side, but it looks like RPT is back. He's really starting to crawl back up. 2-3, and last round before the swap, as this is not gonna have any more changes of the bans because these bans will again remain identical if this game happens to go to overtime for RPT. This is the momentum, this is the motivation they need, and it seems like they are getting to that. They need a Thatcher this time because now there's a Bandit and a Mute as well. But now Plunderstück, they have learned their lesson, understand that enough style points have been firm for one day. They will be opting to change that Caveira for good for the time being and going for a much more of a post-plan setup with Echo on the board and Goyo as well.
Gonna see where this is gonna go with this one for certain. But overall, the setups present and ready for these overall hits here. And over to versus bottom forest. How do they even want to hold on to this based on sideline round? Because members of RPT, that last round was given to them by the grace of the gods, pretty
10
much.
seconds remaining.
That shouldn't have been a situation. The Azami could have instantly went in for
5
the peak
seconds
and
to
probably
insertion.
killed out the Thatcher, but she just started to overthink the situation. You could tell that, yeah, they were given an opportunity to easily turn that one on its head, but they just lost it. It's tough, but we're gonna need to see where this one goes for them. Because RPT, once again, looking to be the team that at least gets that equalizer, right? 3-3 on the scorecards, on their defensive side. They can play for it, and they can do a lot on the overall setup, but still not looking as good as you would have hoped for. Timing is going to be key for this opening fight. C4 in
I
hand,
love
just
the
to...
aggression.
Yeah,
Holy
he's
shit.
just trying to send a message that, hey, you don't want to mess with me here in this position. And plus, with the softball right next to the drone hole, as soon as he sees the feed, he's instantly going to be able to go in for that spam. So all of the members of Plunderstück, they have now completely changed up their strategies to be a lot more aggressive. But good God, the positioning of the Bandit already being given away. Too many different spots that they have to worry about. And it's going to be the pre-fire coming in from Aurora to instantly get that shut down. Beautifully done for the opening, and a couple of flashes should give the attackers the edge that they need to break their way into this room.
Very likely actually, because the way the attackers are starting to pick off fights one by one, even though they're losing on the they are losing a lot of HP on that, but still keeping themselves alive. That is splendid so far. The Goyo is on the flank, but I don't know how successful this is gonna be considering he's already been swatted out as I speak of it. Looks like the attackers, the defenders, they're really trying to get on top of the game and trying to brute force it, because I understand that you know that there's gonna be a push under the exothermic stairs, but 2 players on the flank, I think this is gonna go super good or super bad, considering there's Aurora on the board to allow the rank to go for complete free range on this flank. Sorry, the verticals. And now, put some salt on the wound. There will be some more nomad air jabs, and now where do you plan from this? Your best bet might be to go for a split inside the objective and then play from there, because you still have enough time to go for that and probably hold the attackers as long as you can from that particular area. The Echo is giving away the confirmations on the Aurora and the push as well. The Echo needs to survive here. He is the trump card. And if the Echo left the objective, I would have understood completely here, Aggie, because think about it. Echo needs to stay alive to make sure those Echo drones, or should I say the Yokais, are alive, and now the attackers are pretty much oblivious of the positions. And if they happen to push the Goyo, they're not going to be able to do that actually, because the Goyo transfer is going off as well. Those Volcans are putting up a lot of pressure. And nice shot from the side of Bluntad as well, even though that was technically a refrag 4-2 situation. And now the time is ticking down. That Goyo canister is going to burn for quite a little bit more time. And then they will be on a pickle because they'll have to go for the plans, considering the echoes are not been discovered yet. And now the Goyo is just playing with his food. He knows the players are going to be stuck on plans. And now just trying to pick off kills one by one. And now the picks are going to be coming in. The echoes will take another plan. It should be able to go down. And the Taggart will run it down to the wire as the bug just expected the echo to be there. Good timing on him, pushing onto Split. Think about it. If there were no bugs on the storage stairs, it would have been decimated into shreds from the side of RPT. But good timing on him as he was able to find the echo and the Goyo on the dying seconds. Otherwise, I mean, I'm just beating around the bush at this moment, ladies and gentlemen. Holy shit, Buck. You're a monster.
Don't want to be in a situation like this whatsoever. Tough calls that you need to make whenever you're in a situation like this. 3v3 now across the entire map. 2 are out, getting banned out. So this is going to be a little bit questionable, to say the very least, of what the members of Plunderstück are really going to be able to bring onto the table for this attack side. They do understand that, hey, RPT, they are not the team that they were previously in map number 1. This is a completely different roster that knows what the hell they're doing in a lot of these fights. They're the ones who are mounting the comeback here. Warden also getting taken off the table. Plunderstück? Are they planning on a full-scale rush? Because shutting down on the Warden means that you can play for the smokes and the glass as well on the board. Instant timeout being taken by the members of RPT. Maybe they have a plan cooked up in their minds, but this is going to be a big question mark on where they're going to be heading on to next for this.
I want to, and I'm pretty much convinced that it was indeed a target ban to go for the Warden, because I know for a fact these players can run Glass, can run Ying, and probably will run Sense as well. Yeah, they did run Sense actually, now that I remember, because in Chalet they did have it. So I understand that they know both these players or both these teams have the talents to play Warden, at the same time to have insane value through that SMG12. It makes it makes absolute sense to see a Warden being taken off the board completely. So RPT taking the timeout, I think they just wanted to make sure that, okay, we did this before, now we do the same thing, because their defense is extremely broadened out. And they usually goes for something unorthodox, and they just make sure Plunderstück at least scratches their head a couple of minutes and then goes to the commitment, at least on their attack, from the references of Chalet at least. But where is this going to be? Because when it comes to this objective, you can, of course, have lines of sight, you can have extensions, but if you really want to extend, I'd rather go for a kitchen defense, because you can allow the opposition to have some vertical angles or opportunities onto the meeting side, or maybe allow them to open up the hatch as well onto the roof. But that's pretty much it, because going down from the main stairs and then going for a breach as well, if you're planning to do that, that's usually difficult. And this is a map where Maestro shines the brightest, especially on that particular objective, because if you happen to put up some Maestros on top of the on the tables and burn enough time and just make sure the Maestro stays alive wherever he wants to, you technically have enough time, or a free round as well, perhaps, unless the attackers have a proper read, which we did see in the last round on the side of Plunderstück, getting rid of the echo as well. But that is just a reference over here. Truth being told, the attackers, they might be expecting something unorthodox, but maybe this is not going to be the case, because truth be told, they are having a straight up ranked setup from the defensive side.
There's a good chance that they're going in for stuff like this, but okay. Wild opened up and instantly being shut away. So what's the mirror window for in that position? I guess this is like the overall setup, but the members of RPT, they're leaving a lot of questions that are yet to be answered. All the mirror windows now broken out, so you can't really play for the information. That's one big gadget now completely being taken off of the board. A couple of drones have been utilized, and I think that was a misclick, but that's completely fine. Positions are good overall, but they still need to go in for this push. A lot of space needs to be covered here by the members of Plunderstück. And now that they do have IT under control, that's good for them, but the thing is, the other parts of the map have yet to be completely cleared out.
Claymore ready.
They'll definitely have to, but at the same time, when you have IT control, you can allow yourself to have either electric control, or you can go for connector, or you can go for a fountain as well. You're technically free and you have multiple choices here. But looks like it is gonna be a fountain push after all, but the defenders have proper answers for this against the Blackbeard and not Mute. I love how every single Mute players play and so goddamn aggressively. Goyo gonna go down because he understands that there
What?
will be a lot of factors, but Proxy just was expecting another piece to come in. Laundry or Lonnie, I think. Not sure what it is, but Mute will be taken out, and now the Glass in his prime, hiding inside the smoke and trying to use the thermal scope to find the mirror. Time is of the essence again, but I would say the attackers making real good progression. The defenders, they're also doing an equally good effort to put up that stall. I was about to talk about the Goyo, and that's exactly where he's going to capitalize. Blunt is able to find a refrag, though, and allow his teammates to go for a breach onto connector as it seems. Oh, never mind, it's not the connector, it's actually the garage, the storage wall. Refrags do be coming in. It is going to be the, what's it called? A Fenrir. Able to find something, but now without the breach on the board, you cannot take the player out inside on the pillar. And now call out to the Ash, blunted. There's too many angles and there's no time. Will survive, and that's typically gonna be something of the KOST, but not something he's gonna be having too much of it. It's gonna be the side of Plunderstück, sorry, RPT. Able to slap back, and looks like they are both of the teams are really strong on their own defensive rounds, without any questions asked, because somehow the attackers they just lack a how do I put it actually? The timings need to be a bit more perfect. Even though RPT is back, we're able to showcase an amazing attack on their previous half, but
Attackers need to locate and defuse
this
as many
keeps going
bombs as
on,
they can.
Thunderstruck's gonna be on the bottom of the barrel.
Thing is, you're letting the Blackbeard push by himself, and that's another big thing that a lot of teams are not yet realizing. Why are you sending the Blackbeard by himself in those kind of positions? Especially when you know that they have a Fenrir, the FNATs are going to be problems for that Blackbeard as he's trying to push in. He has no idea where he's going to be running into. So you really need to have those double-ended approaches. Yeah, I do get it. You were down over to a 3v3 situation. Then tell the Blackbeard just not to play for those for a different position. Just rendezvous with the team and then go together towards the sideline. It's just tough that the members of Plunderstück, they made a very how do you a rookie level mistake when it comes down to playing for those late game rounds, but it's okay to say the very least because here's where the changeup can happen. They've showcased great adaptability when it came down to the late round halves. So hopefully they're going to be able to showcase that exactly here on Night Haven Labs, where that adaptability will get tested even further because of how small this map is and how claustrophobic it can be. If you're not careful, anyone can pot about of any corner, especially when you have shield ops like a Blackbeard just ready for it.
That is true because they are kind of focused a lot on this Blackbeard counter because they know both the teams will run Blackbeard and challenge the opposition with for a 1v1 headshot gunfight. But now it is a matter of the operators of Operation Dustline to have a showdown, as Valkyrie and Blackbeard did almost have a showdown, but the Valkyrie will be the smarter one over here, able to fall back. But that's also a huge amount of map control gained by the attackers. So far, so good, but the problem is the main focus they're having on the main reach is just those lines of sight made by the Maverick. And the Glass is not playing there either. So maybe that is a good thing because the defenders are forced to leave that AO completely. And now the plan's also going down and interesting through this to the very least because the Maverick is indeed holding the line of sight, holding onto that piece of hole. And now the plan gone as well. The defenders might be wondering, okay, what the hell just happened? They know there was a push onto Exo, and that is exactly where they fell. And now the Exo flank is already off its way, coming back, and now one player is already down, but the goal is also tagged up as well. Impacts to bait up the players to look for a different angle, and he will take the bait as well. And there you have it, the vertical angles to just burn the time, but in the end, Cloudy, or I think Cloud, I think he was able to secure it because he just knew exactly what's gonna be happening. You can bait a person once, but not twice, as Plunderstück is gonna be able to slap back as well on their own attack. Now they know that if they can play with the element of surprise, they will be just fine.
Absolutely. Like, this is where they made that adaptability play, right? you had that Blackbeard and you had someone right behind them. The Blackbeard made a ton of space. The Glass was able to utilize that space and further facilitate the Blackbeard for that push, right? Because
Defenders,
he
protect your
has
bombs from
the
being defused by
smoke in
attackers.
his hands to just really go in for those setups. That's exactly what you want to see overall coming in from a team. The set plays, the adaptability that they're able to showcase, and RPT just didn't really get the read there. Now, did they? They just didn't understand that, oh my god, the Blackbeard's coming in towards me. I need to give up this space because I can't risk taking this fight. And then the Glass came in from the back, utilized the smoke, covered up the breaches, and the Blackbeard just ran into the side for free and just got all the space in the entire world that he could have wanted. This was a smart game plan coming in from the members of Plunderstück, and maybe they're going to be able to utilize this once again. But look at how RPT are the ones to adapt to it. They're now extending themselves as far as they possibly can over towards the higher floors because they want the members of Plunderstück to maybe fall into the same trap that they did previously, where they were forced to clear out on so many of the roamers that they wasted so much time and they can't make their way in towards the side anymore.
I'd like to say the same, to be honest, because the way Plunderstück are just diving inside a particular objective and just taking proper control. I mean, it is proper, undoubtedly, but the way they were able to, how do I put it, facilitate the area control, perhaps. It was just something they didn't have an answer for. But as of now, the attackers, they do look like they have an extensive spread onto the map because look at that. They do have 2 kills, of course, but a Goyo playing on the very top floor of Fountain as well. And considering the fact that it was a player who went down on that top floor, good God, that is scary. And now there's going to be a slap onto the Blackbeard as well. The Goyo has already done his job. Even if he goes down, that's going to be fine. But never mind, the Goyo is going to be a survivor here. Hey, 1v5 for him. He can probably find the kill onto the Goyo as he's super low on HP. The AK-12 needs to find the proper values here. But then again, the Goyo is just chilling. He knows even if he goes down, there will be someone who's going to refrag him, and he doesn't even go down. Lemony is gonna find every single thing he could have asked for. A triple kill for him, baby. And now, players of Plunderstück are just... Sorry, RPG is back. He's able to slap back so goddamn hard on Plunderstück. These rounds are barely lasting seconds, ladies and gentlemen. And looks like it's going to be a tradition in the upcoming rounds as well.
You gotta love it when you see it, ladies and gentlemen. This is how the members of RPT are really playing out this game.
No surprises.
RPT, with their overall setup and game plan, it's not that big of a surprise that the Mira has been banned out and also the Blackbeard's been taken off of the board. But I love the adaptability. This is how they made that answer happen. They spread themselves out even further, forcing the attackers to spread their man count on multiple different positions. The Goyo was just able to run around and do whatever the hell he wants. He's kind of one of those ops, right, that we complain about. He places all of his utility and then vanishes into the atmosphere. And you have no idea where he is half the time. Because the Goyo can roam and do whatever the hell he wants because his job is done. He doesn't need to be in the site anymore.
Well, that's just going to be that like that for the time being. And truth be told, Goyo is finding those values, so no questions asked. And I kind of believe that's going to remain true, even though the players have swapped their operators here and there, because I did see Lemony playing, going for the Goyo. It's going to be Taz this time. Taz and Maz. I just realized that they have the same IGN as well. But for now, the players of Plunderstück, they're kind of on a bad spot, if I want to be honest, because they are really not having too much of an opening here. Because whenever they find an opening, they just dives in, and if they can, they just falls apart. Should I say this is a complete tradition from the teams who are attacking? Okay, Taz, I want to see what you're up to, buddy. And never mind, I don't think it was him. I think it was someone else going for the cameras and preparing himself for a run out. But I'm not sure if that was supposed to happen, Roxy. He is the bug taken off. Hopefully that was not the ace. It would have hurt so much more if it was the case. Entries have been made, but now the Legion's still under the Grim. And if the flanks are not being taken care of, he's gonna keep on pressuring onto those particular players. A Ying is brought on the board, considering the fact that Warden was banned very early on into the game. So this kind of raises my eyebrow a little. That wasn't it supposed to be a little bit more quicker when it comes to these type of picks? Let's soften up.
Maybe able to find a bit more an opening to play for, but and again, not really in the best of spots here. The Incandelas, yeah, it gives him a tiny bit of space and some of an opening, but that Goyo just this Goyo canister is just so difficult to do anything with. It's only able to open up the wall to the bare minimum, but then again, it just doesn't look like they're gonna be able to do much with
Yeah,
it
if they had a
just
buff,
yet.
that would have been fine.
Yeah, they need something. It's just not working out in the way that they would have wanted. The members of Plunderstück, they're trying to pick up the fallen pieces here, but that's all that they can hope for.
Gotta love how the defenders are resetting all the angles open up by the attackers here. Onto the connector, onto the wall as well, not giving away any form of control whatsoever. Also playing this vertical angle. Oh no, the Z-Bot's gonna be there. It's gonna go out as well. Oh boy. And that's there goes the double as well from Taz. And now I do see the Maverick being a little bit hungry, trying to get the kill onto the storage side. But it's not going to be very efficient whatsoever as the Yin Candelas do dive in, but there's also a counter to her as there is something which can blind her. Free fires are going to be there, but they need to open up the wall, the door. This is exactly what I was worried about. These doors. Oh no, Taz's timing insane. I have to admit it now. ADM. They will find the last one and a flawless run on the side of Thunder. Sorry, that's from the side of RPT. They are not shying away from taking these fights whatsoever, and the timings are impeccable, especially from the Goyo. In no way in hell I would have expected somebody to go for the barricade at those hours. I mean, should be told, the barricade shouldn't have been there to begin with. Most of the time, you'd see players opening up the barricade and going for the breach then, so that in case someone is moving around, you'll have two angles to contest him if you happen to go for a rappel angle onto the IT wall. Sadly, that was not the case, and sadly, the barricade was very much open, allowing the Goyo to have free space onto that catwalk.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
There's too many variables. There's too many buts and ifs now that the members of Plunderstück have to worry about. But overall, timing and positioning is going to be key for them. As RPT, they're looking to be in a little bit more of a better spot, yeah, but they can't get overconfident in the positions that they're already being given. So for now, setups present and ready, but the thing is, when you look at the game plan now, especially with the ops that have been selected by the members of Plunderstück, it doesn't look to be that good. Yes, and a couple of those changes have happened. They're going to be playing purely for the vertical lines of sight onto those second floors, but that's kind of what the members of RPT are banking on. Look at the spread that they do have and the ops that they have picked up as well. They're going in for the same plan that they did previously. With all of their players going in for a big spread, their positions are just so difficult to break into.
Is he really gonna put up all the Selmas on the mute jammer radius, even though there is indeed a Maverick in the vicinity? That was fun to watch, but yeah, as you were saying, Agi, they kinda need to like focus on that particular factor, but I do want to give them a benefit of doubt as well, because every now and then it is the attackers who are struggling the most, and seems like it's just a factor that they do not know exactly when to expect what. Not exactly how the game has been designed, and not exactly a team fault. For now, attackers are indeed making solid progress, opening up the wall and going for probably the vertical angles as well. They need to take care of the portion on the left, and there you have it. Now the wall has been softened up. The Buck can definitely open that up, and now there is backups from the there is contestants from the Azami and the Smoke as well on those catwalk. The wall is reinforced, so never mind. There is actually not a proper way for the Smoke to cover his teammate, but Mute again playing very aggressively on the window, but could have been very much punishing, but let's pull the tail as Maxwell able to find ADM initially, and now the attackers, they do have an advantage, and I kind of believe they are inside. Yes, they are. The plan's gonna be going down as well. The Legion doesn't have any idea. The plan needs to be denied. Where's the cover? Yes, there you have it. Sadly, there was no attempt on the shots didn't quite connect from the Buck on the cover, and now, oh no, that's the wrong gun, my guy. He was trying to block off the angle, but the Cade had the proper timing, and now it's really 2v4 situation. And now the attackers, They're in a very disastrous situation, but hopefully they do have an answer for this V2, but they need to find at least one more to equalize the odds. Problem is, there is a Kaid very much comfortable inside of that room with that particular wall guarding him, and now it's Ultra Proxy. Knows one location, but his location is also known by the entirety of the world, as he will be contested by 3 different angles. The K is right behind them. Where do you go from here? Ay, you just can't. And it is gonna be none other than RPT taking map number 2, ladies and gentlemen. These Titans just do not know when to give up, as we need a third map. It is gonna be Cafe Dostoevsky coming in for the third, as RPT is indeed back on the second map.
Absolutely. This is what we wanted to see coming out from them on map number 1. You could see that they had that sparks of brilliance that really showcased to us that RPT, they knew what the hell they were doing. But as soon as map number 2 rolled around, the team just did a complete 180. This is the change up, this is the switch up that you wanted. And then the map of Cafe, things are just going to get heated up way more. And I'm here for it, absolutely. As we're going to be heading on down over into a very short little break, ladies and gentlemen, as I set up game number 3. We're going to be right back with you with a lot more R6 action for the EON.
separates your shadows from my soul as these walls begin to fold. Head lost in the silence, cold stars illuminate the secrets on your tongue and the poison in my lungs. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth. Blind eyes in the darkness, frail hands reaching out, sword echoes in the smoke as the doors behind me close.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, with all the action for the EON League. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now here to see the last and final map, which is going to be Cafe, to see exactly which one of these teams are going to be able to take the crown for this particular best-of-3 series and keep on moving forward on the league and be the ones to be crowned the champions for just a little while, because both of these teams are shaky in their own ways. But RPT, they are back in map number 2, and they're here to bring in the heat for map number 3. Will they be able to carry on the momentum for the map of Cafe, or will they crumble under the pressure? And will it be the side of Plunderstück, who were able to perform so admirably on map number 1? Will they be able to carry that success over on map number 3? It's going to be a big question mark, because Plunderstück as a team just kind of dropped the ball in more ways than one, right? When you think about it, they just couldn't do what they were able to do on map number 2, similarly to what they did on the side of the first map. They're making a lot more big mistakes, and those mistakes are being capitalized upon at each and every turn.
That's for certain, because both the teams have their ups and downs and oopsies as well, because it does feel like that they do feel a lot of pressure at given times. So it is kind of something we have to consider, but I believe on this particular map they will be equally strong, and I do want to see a game which goes head to head, not in one side whatsoever, because truth be told, they know each other's weaknesses, they know each other's strengths as well. And I do think Cafe dos PFC is also one of those matches which has been reworked. Yeah, they do. It is reworked. So I do want to see exactly how this map in particular goes in Siege X, ladies and gentlemen. Plunderstück and RPT is back. Now these Titans have their walls against the back, and now they'll have to put every single thing they have on the equation to take it home and make it happen. It is Cafe dos PFC, and it is not Russia, my friend. Of course it's going to be effective, but sorry for the mimicry. Now we will be heading into the ban phase. Clash ban once again. No surprises whatsoever, because I understand that RPT is back, wants to play Clash, but does not want to face a Clash whatsoever. So, what's going to be the next bans coming in from both of these teams? Grim ban, well, not quite sure if it's something to really consider about, because again, it can really be overshadowed by some other bans. But Ying ban makes a lot more sense in my opinion, because these players know that they will play Ying even if they happen to have Warden. So guess what? Ying will be taken out completely, so they do not have that factor to scratch their heads.
Even then, right, the Ying is just super strong in this map in general. Let's say there are castle barricades, right? You can still place those Ying Candelas and just utilize it to create a lot of pressure. You have an easier time dropping the hatches as well by utilizing those Candelas. Ying on Cafe being banned out is not that big of a surprise. It happens in Pro League. It's going to happen here. This is a must. Cafe pretty much is the home ground for Ying and Valkyrie. If you have both of these ops on the table at any point in the game, you know for a fact that that defensive side is going to be hard to try and get a hold of the entire map. And also, the attackers are not going to be able to easily brute force a lot of these entries onto the sides of Cocktail Lounge or even towards Engine Room. It is going to be quite difficult. Now, is it impossible? No. But Valkyrie not being played out by either one of these teams a little bit big, a little bit of a surprise. But maybe Plunderstück, they're not going to be playing based upon the information from Valkyrie, but instead rely a lot more on the pulse to give them that active feed of information so they can easily take those gunfights.
That's for certain. But now, without the Valkyrie, I do see a much more interesting pick. That is the Pulse. So, my question remains, if this Pulse is gonna be utilized to play Shaiko, just imagine how much value he can get, because of course Shaiko, whenever Shaiko is playing that, he's gonna be preferring to play Jaeger because he can bring up the ADS, and at the same time you can use the 416C to your own advantage to have proper gunfights. But with Pulse, you have the information. If there are players, the C4 will be tossed in, will not find any value whatsoever. But yeah, bring one more topic back, as you were saying, that Ying being banned does make a lot more sense because of Skylight Rushes as well. But okay, I see what's happening here. Both the players will toss covers to each other as they will simply
By Doc,
block
you
each
will
other's
do this.
angles off. But now the plan's going down in the middle of nowhere. It's Sky Heaven. The Doc has no idea whatsoever. Rather, the plan's going down in front of you. He's just landing through the smoke as it is a counter strike. And now 3-3 situation. And now Azami is super low on HP, but the retake is going to be still difficult because the repels are going to be there. And if they want, the defense attackers can also play on those verticals, but there are no shotguns available. But still, they should be just fine with the DMR. 3 DMRs alive, and now the defusal is going in because Azami, there's no counter.
They didn't hear him. They didn't hear him. They were too afraid of the castle that jumped the barricade, because that happened at the exact same time. I'm pretty sure that the castle jumping across from the barricade masked the sound of the diffuser from going through. They had no goddamn idea what even happened there. The members of Plunderstück, they just stole this round out of the hat. RPT, they just had no idea what they even walked into. The plan was so perfect as well, using the Aurora to close up that entire corridor, isolating out the angles with those smokes, and then utilizing the flash to completely blind out the dog so he can run inside of the smoke and go in for melees. This was so smart in every single way. The attack plan was very creative, and I love to see this from both of these teams. But rounds like this is what gets your blood pumping and makes you want to play Siege even more.
Tell me about it, but I still want to know. There were so many players with DMR repelling there. I understand the castle definitely was an X factor, something they had to worry about, but come on, how many angles do you need to hold on with? How many people do you need to hold on to one angle? And that's exactly what the Pulse and the Azami took advantage of. My god, Plunderstück. They were ready for RPT to slap, but at the same time, they were also ready to slap back harder. And now, Plunderstück, they're just getting one step closer to put themselves as the winners of this round. RPT is back. What's gonna be their take on this? I don't see a Fuse, but a Ram's gonna be just fine. But sometimes I do believe that Fuse will allow them to have a lot more impact onto that particular objective. Because think about it, if they happen to have a Cade or Bandit or whatever they bring in case they want to slow the attackers down to go for the plants, the breaches, or whatever the hell it is, Fuse does collateral damage. But for now, the collateral is going to be starting onto Maxwell. So I'm not sure if that was a real good position on the side of Azami, because usually Azami players don't get the barriers instantaneously. So now all the barriers you could have deployed are gone.
Yeah, but they now need to try and get an equalizer for this kill. This is going to be a tough one. I understand you wanted to play towards the side of Motor Room to try and deny a lot of the vertical plays that could happen on this particular side, but now you're just in a bit of a tough spot. Ram is going to be utilized to create even more open opening. It's good. God, like, the players, they're making sure to really get into each other's heads. Don't forget, like I always say, Siege or any other tactical shooter in that matter is a game based upon the mental. And if you're able to get into the heads of your opponents, you're already doing a better job than pretty much 90% of the players.
They're going to be keeping that up whatsoever, because from the looks of it, they're really not giving a heed, but looks like Proxy does, as it is going to be the sense of the board. And the best part of it is the C4 went huge on top of the table as well, so there was no way for the sense to dodge that C4 either. 1 minute left on the clock, and now the attackers, they have set up good amount of vertical angles, but hello, the objective's below. You cannot do everything from up there. You need to plan, you need to find the players who are hiding behind the covers, which are not accessible from those vertical angles. There is a player, I do see the silhouette onto the hallway of a bar. But as of now, looks like there is a drop from the recruit, and now they're trying to find the opening. Problem is the mute is holding it with a shotgun. There is no way in hell the recruit's gonna be surviving that. Striker, he has a if he has a shotgun or probably a grenade, that's gonna be easier. The shotgun is in hand, and yes, he will find the shot as well. And now the plan is probably gonna be going down because there is opening, but the problem is that Echo is very much alive and very much safe. There's no castle barricade though, but now he's spotted out. What the hell? Okay.
Yeah, these echo drones are already spotted through. Maybe he's gonna be able to deny this plan if he gets the proper timing for it. Yes, he does. The Yokai still up and ready. They're wasting time here. They know exactly where the echo is, and a drop down
Yeah,
over
drop
towards the
shot.
deck to instantly get that kill, ladies and gentlemen. That drop shot was good though. He's able to completely disregard his crosshair placement, utilizing drop shots like this up against very highly experienced players. It's gonna be where the mind games really lie at. The members of RPT, they're still back into the assist rounds, and you can tell that both of these squads, they're not ready to give this one up anytime soon.
Definitely are not. Again, this is where they're back up against the walls, and they'll do everything they have to keep themselves alive. And again, they will do the exact same thing. But for the defenders, they will change the objective into reading side. The library will pick up a
Attackers need to
Kubarao
locate
on
and
the
defuse
board.
bombs.
I'm not gonna say it is there for the 4 attempts because the snow does disable the C4 as well. Except for the fact that yeah, you can allow yourself to go for wall banks through the floors. But what exactly is the gameplay here? Except for the fact that if he specifically wants that DMR on the board, maybe that's something. It is powerful enough and able to two-shot any attackers at any given range. I guess some 3 armors may have a slack here, but that's for some other situations to deal about. Attackers do have the confirmation. It is a reading room objective. Changing every single operator they have, except for the sense. Wait a second. They don't have any explosives to take care of those castle. Doesn't make sense in the best of worlds, considering the fact that they have... What is this meta? They have 4 DMRs and 4 of them are identical. The M417.
I mean, I guess no automatic weapons. They're gonna be body shot berries or headshot Harrys. It could be
How
anything.
does this rhyme? How does this rhyme?
Hey, you know that I'm a poet, right? You told me that I'm a poet.
Okay, sure.
You yourself said it.
I remember saying that, but yeah, you didn't even cite that. Okay, okay. I'm guilty as charged. I'm guilty as charged.
The guilt from the players, like I don't know exactly what RPT is even planning. Having 4 DMRs in a situation like this, where your Nomad's the only automatic weapon that you have, you can't really pre-fire as much anymore. So maybe the defenders, they can go in for a little bit more of an over-aggressive play, but even then, like, how are you gonna break through a lot of these lines aside? You can't even play for the vertical spots. How do you play vertical with a DMR?
You can be vertical with the DMR. The problem is that how do you take entry as okay? One second. Why is there nobody on the hatch? Hello?
What?
Hello, verticals, defenders. Well, this is gonna be fun.
It's gonna be interesting.
We have a completely open side. There's nothing to worry about except for some contentions from White's chair, perhaps. And even then, that's gonna be contested by the twist, perhaps, if he can go up, if he can just walk up the stairs. What is happening,
Positions
man?
on one of these players. One player is just sitting behind bar in this spot. So this Nomad is very aware of the positions, but the thing is, the members of Plunderstück, they have so many of these positions under lockdown. If any player just tries to even jump in towards fireplace right now. It's still going to be tough for them to break in towards these lines. Mortar Room fully taking control. Vibrate still a tough spot for them to break into. Time ticking away here, ladies and gentlemen.
Why?
Maxwell's going to be able to find a free kill over from the side of White Stairs. The castle barricade now being shut
Ooh,
down, but
nice
still the
shot.
kills do come through from either side. They do have the opening, they have the fight, but the Jaeger's position completely unknown still. He's wasting so much time. The Nomad can't even go in to help out his teammates, and one after the other, they just keep on falling. 20 seconds left on the clock, time ticking away, and this is where the DMRs are really starting to falter as the defenders, they use their automatic weapons to its fullest caliber. Goes in for the free fires, the shots are just perfect, and the drop downs are just not going to be working. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Plunderstück who take away round number 3 for themselves. They take the lead, but for how long is the real question.
It does raise a lot of eyebrows, in my opinion, because RPT, they were having a decent flow, if I want to be honest, on the previous round, because they took control of the object onto the top floor. Then they went in for the objective control, allowed the players to go for a plant, and allowed the last player to not have, they allowed any players to go for any counterbans whatsoever. But I want to know that for RPT, when it comes to this map as a whole, either you bring some form of utility to go for soft destruction. Heartbeat is secondary, I'll give you that. You take at least some form of map control, then you go for flank holes, or at least don't funnel yourself in on the same angle. That's just a tradition of Capital CFC because it has narrow angle. It has long hallways, and at the same time, it is a soft map as a whole. I know that you are confident with the DMRs, but it is simply not gonna be very efficient because you still need to get rid of those soft breaches. Even a sledge would have been useful on that case, or maybe a buck as well. And the worst part is buck has a DMR. 22 as the attackers, they will be switching things up completely because there is no operate which remains identical to previously, except for the Nomad and the Twitch perhaps. I do love it a bit more because at least this time they have something to counter those castle barricades with. I mean, yeah, you can definitely ignore the castle barricades and whatnot, but you have to understand the castle barricades are there for a reason. Either there is a defender holding there or holding something from there. If you allow a castle or someone behind the castle barricade to stay free, well, guess what? He has more map control than you can imagine. So now, they will simply rendezvous to the top floors. White stair drones will be established as well in case of run out or in case late pushes onto that white hallway. Also depends. How do you want to take these fights on the top floor? There's still an Azami because I hate to say it, this is where the DMR could have been much more prominent.
Oh, possible run out here from Proxy. He's feeling a little bit spicy about this one, but nope, instantly just runs away. He doesn't want to risk it. So gonna lounge, not really being given up for free just yet. The Azami could have easily gone in for the hit if he wanted to. Positions revealed, shots being taken, and the Azami just cannot get the barricade up quickly enough. And that's gonna be Maz who gets the instantaneous kill over from the sideline. A good kill indeed from them, but they need to find a little bit of a trade-off here. Maxwell doesn't really find much with the castle shots, but overall, they still have a chance and opportunity to really turn this one on its head. But members of Plunderstück, they're taking damage and their positions are just being compromised in more ways than one.
This is where you're gonna shine a little bit more with the sledge as well, because now you have grenades to flush out the players from a very cornered angle where you can probably not have the gunfight on your own accords. So far so good from their side, especially good because now they have full control of Pixel as well, including Piano. And now they're just going to be picking off players one by one, which did quite happen, but the refrag does come in from the side of Blunted as well. 3-4 situation, still very much advantageous for the attackers. And now if they can take control of the freezer side, or at least the white stairs perhaps, they should be just fine to go for any form of commitments. There is players spotted out on the long table who will be dropping out onto the pillar side, and if this is the case, this is the confirmation. Their push onto the freezer will be free. And there you have it. Now with the fender of the board as well. Now they can probably have freezer empty for themselves. And they don't even need to do that because the Aruni pushed out and went for a flying. That's all to Maxwell, who's not even in the objective. A free objective for the attacker side.
There's no way you're going to be able to bring this one back for yourself. tough spot for it to be in overall, but positionally, Maxwell needs to work his way up slowly but surely, crawling his way in. But with all the positions revealed
No,
and
no, no, no,
what
no.
they do know, player does drop from Skylight, but well, Maxwell just can't really do anything about it. Plan's gonna go through, and the 45-second timer is just about to
Yes,
start. Nomad air jab is just gonna be in position. They go in for a couple of those pop shots. He tries to pre-fire, but it's just not gonna give him anything. Lammy's gonna be instantly present and ready to go in for the shutdown. Good shots though overall, threading the needle out perfectly. As members of RPT, they answer back in behind. Both sides are just taking round after round away from one another. If there was an economy in Siege, you know it would have been in shambles.
Are you saying this because of the DMRs on the board?
Yes.
Yeah, I know when someone speaks of a guardian when I hear it, but anyway, to situation, and looks like RPT is back, is able to get the proper positionings they were planning to be on. For now,
Defenders,
I'm
protect your
saying
bombs
Thunder's
from
back.
being
Oh my god,
defused by attackers.
Plunderstück is not exactly on the worst positions, but still they are putting up enough fights here. But now they'll have to focus on the fact that they are not giving away unnecessary frags. I know Cloudy can take fights, and he's an insane fragger, or at least have been fragging the previous game. But for now, as an Azami, he needs to understand that my Kiba barriers are much more valuable than the frags I bring in. So, truth be told, last time when he went down on the piano side that quickly against the Lion, that allowed the attackers to have full control of piano and the objective as well, as I was speaking about the freezer side and whatnot. If this is something RPG Plunderstück understands, the players of RPG is gonna have a much more harder time, not impossible, but a harder time to take this objective. And interestingly, we are not going for a library defense whatsoever. We're going for a train defense. Train museum defense. Apologies for that. So
I
I would
honestly
say
thought
this
he would
is
have gotten a kill there. Oh my god, the player on Weisters, you can actually see their heads on that angle. He was a little bit higher.
Azami, yes. Azami, yes, you can, but he's not quite visible yet. Azami, you're chewing more than you can swallow. Wait. Does he not see the barricade being opened up? Maybe he did, but I think the line was covering it. Risky position from Azami, but it is a real high-stake play. Not expecting a run out, but if he can destroy some drones at least, that's gonna be more than fine because now they know there's a Valkyrie on Shaiko dropping out as well. Not Shaiko, actually, under the skylight. I mean, the essence. I do want to know if they still wonder the Azami's there or not again.
Yeah, this is going to be a big, important play for them. White Stairs control is going to be crucial for this overall setup that they're trying to go in for. We do have a little bit of a timing here, but calm before the storm pretty much because the vertical lines of sight have yet to get opened up, and that's where the real chaos is going to start to break loose. But honestly speaking, they don't really have anyone to play for those vertical fights, but look at the way that the striker is playing all the way in towards the side of library. He's working his way in. This is gonna be a problem. And you can see that the problem has already started to show itself. The striker does find the opening kill over towards the side of the Azami. That's gonna be the players just dropping like flies one after the other. The members of Plunderstück now shaking in their boots to try and pick up those fallen pieces. Last player already spotted. They know their exact position. And for old Maxwell, once again, stuck down over to a 1v3 situation. What do you do to try and clutch this one? Absolutely nothing because the plant's going to go
No, he
down.
can,
And
he
there's
can.
not much. Wait, he maybe can. Wait, the hatch is open, right? He can drop down and possibly find an opening frag up from those positions or even play from white stairs.
I want to believe the diffuser's on white stairs and he has a long ass line of sight over there. And if they do not care
No.
that they're gonna be on a problem. No, they actually are carrying it. There are top falls to go for. Sadly for him, the lines were indeed covered. If he could have pushed up onto the on the crouch angle, he would have had a better angle. Because think about it, nobody would expect a pixel angle from the what's it called? The left soft wall into the white stairs, because think about it, you can kill the person who's covering and you can enable some paranoia into the player who's going for a plant, and there's no way in hell the striker could have gotten an angle because you're behind the train. But then again, it is a lot more complicated than I sound, because Truth be told, in a 1v3, you really can't keep yourself calm on those regards. 3-2
Attackers need to
situation, and
locate and defuse
RPT is
bombs.
back, is showing off how strong they are on attack overall. Because for the last 2 maps, they have really been shining on attack.
Absolutely. RPT. They really turn their heads and really are bringing in a completely different look compared to what they were in that first initial map, and that's exactly what we're here to see. The team synergy, the overall game plans that they wanted to go in for, the setups that they're trying to do as well. They are easily turning the heads of a lot of the players that a lot of the people, that
10 seconds
witnessed them
remaining.
in game number 1. And now once again they're going back towards the side of
5
a
seconds
reading
remaining.
room, and I don't really know exactly why, because RPT, they're easily showcase that, hey, if you're going to play for those vertical lines aside, we're not going to be the ones to really play into that anymore. Buck is going to get taken on the board. Ram is not going to be utilized because, yeah, the Boogie can give you a lot of lines of sight to play for, but it also makes you very vulnerable, while the Buck can go in for a much more surgical precision airstrike from those vertical positions instead. So I like the overall setup, and especially with the line scans, if the Buck really starts to create a lot of chaos, they're instantly going to be able to find an opening kill. They're relying a lot on these vertical lines of sight to work out, and if it doesn't, oh boy, it's going to be a problem for them.
Problem or not, there's something they'll have to find the opening first, because even now they're quite focusing on snow side. I understand that they want to make sure there are no aggressions when it comes to the rappels onto those particular windows, but at the same time, either they'll have to drop from the hatches or they'll have to drop the skylight. If they happen to drop from the new hatch, well, you can see what's exactly going to happen here. Habana trying to open up the angles to make sure there are no survivors inside of the cocktail. There is a Jaeger, though. We will find an extended angle standing on top of the counters. And now there's a heavy presence on the defensive side to deny this vertical chance. There will be a refrag on the side of Kaz, but the problem is there's still 2 players available, the Jaeger and the Ella. Jaeger will be taken out the moment I speak his name, and now the Ella is gonna be on the run. Run, boy, run, and he will go back into the never mind. He's gonna go back to the very bottom of the objective. Angles being found by the Valkyrie, not found. Sorry, by the smoke, but no value whatsoever. Now with the time kind of being ample, they should be able to find at least some form of value, though. Never mind, the pings are gonna be there. The vertical angles, cloudy. The pings are picture perfect thanks to the Valkyrie. Kaz, however, will be able to get rid of the Valkyrie. Now Valkyrie is fully committed onto the cam duty. Problem is, there's still a Monty alive, along with the Lion. Oh, what the hell? Why didn't the vertical angles not open up?
Yeah, that's a soft flooring too. Okay,
I think it was because of the glasses on the floor. Imagine props in the map denying vertical destruction.
Welcome to our 6 starter pack.
Now,
What?
well, he injured him. That's good so far, and now looks like he's gonna be having enough space to work with. The smoke, I believe he went up, or maybe he's simply gonna be staying there. Diffuser's still in the hands of the Monty. So there is no more toxic babes left for the smoke anymore. So now that's going to be a problem for the smoke in particular, because the Monty technically is going to be much more stronger here. Monty knows exactly where the smoke is, but the La Leo is going to be happening. He was blinded by the lights, and now he could have killed him, but instead he's going to give the kills to his teammates. And what the hell just happened here, ladies and gentlemen? 4-2 as RPT is back. Is going to be back on attack and now returning to defense. 4-2, and now Plunderstück will have to do the exact same thing on their own attack. Otherwise, they will have a much harder time on their own attack.
Historically, Cafe is a little bit more attack favored because of the amount of lines of sight that you can create and play for, but the way that RPT did it, it is a big surprise. They lost out on so many of their players, right? Because as soon as I saw the Buck fall down, I instantly thought like, oh, I think this is all but over, and it's going to be Plunderstück who take a 3-3 for themselves, because there's no way the Monty's going to be able to walk into those angles for free. They do have a proper line of sight ready for a play like that, but because the Buck was allowed to live, and the fact that he was able to create even more vertical lines of sight, or even just play based upon the Monty just walking in for free, it is very difficult for any of the members of Plunderstück to really hold on to any of these sides. And I'm pretty sure, knowing RPT and knowing how aggressive they like to play, it's going to be an even bigger question mark, to say the very least, of where they're going to be going in for this. It's going to be kitchen and service being the first initial site, ladies and gentlemen. So it's going to be a full-on extension. Get to that second floor, get to that third floor. Make sure that the members of Plunderstück, they're going to utilize a lot of utility or spread their man count thin to try and clean you out. Now you have to pick your poison, right, Krish? So you have two ways of clearing out the roamers. You send all of your players out together onto one particular floor, and then you clear it out first, and then you go towards the second floor. Or you send out two players on towards the second floor position, three players onto the third floor position, and then you go for a double pronged approach to catch out any of the defenders who are trying to run away from you. Knowing the members of RPT and knowing what they like to do, you want to go for that second approach because you can't easily guarantee those kills. Because their playstyle is much more of a guerrilla tactics one, where they're gonna try to waste a lot of utility and waste a couple of those drones away from you and instantly run away. And you can't really give up those positions anymore like that.
That certainly cannot, because they, whatever you said, actually just matches words 1-to-1. And looks like it's simply gonna remain identical.
My
The timing as Taz is gonna be able to open things up by getting rid of the Aurora. Well, we're just having a memory of the Aurora looking at the snow because, well, the bodies do not last anymore in the game because of props being too distracting. So sadly for Aurora, that is gonna be it for her because it was barely 30 seconds in the round. So kind of sad, but anyhow,
Not even 30
that hack is
seconds. It was barely 10.
30 seconds. Yeah, something around that because it was technically instant. The moment he ran out of the spawn, he was gone back to the gods of R6. Well, kind of sad, but truth be told, now with what they have, Eddie, they don't quite have too much options to go for the third floor anymore. They'll have to go for the second floor if they want to go for the vertical and allow the rest of the players, or should I say, Rora, for example, to be on drone duty, to call out the flanks on 3 of the stairs available to go for, to have the flexibility of those. But even then, that doesn't answer the question that how do you counter this particular objective side? Because think about it, you can't have the verticals, but you're not going to be able to block off the angles you want. Go for the commitments. You do have the Monty, but how long do you want to hold one particular doorway with a Monty? The Fender is super low on HP when it comes to the prep hold, so technically he's going to be stuck there for a little while unless he falls back. But I do wonder if it's going to be the case because there are lines of sight from the small bakery as well, even though there is Aruni trying to contest that, and with low HP, the Fender does survive and get rid of the Monty. I do want to know, how do we have so many shields from Plunderstück? I mean, you can definitely play with a fear factor, but for now, the shields are just being shields. They're just not being shot at, but for how long?
The thing is, these shields were picked up because they wanted to play for the vertical lines of sight, I do believe, and just clear out roamers. That's where the shields are going to be really powerful. But when you're trying to execute onto kitchen and service, you as a shield cannot run in there. There's too many different lines of sight that you have to worry about. But okay, Cloudy just got caught with his pants down for a couple of seconds there, but he's able to recover. Vertical lines of sight still present. One player just chilling inside a freezer. There's too many different angles that they have to worry about. Another player just immediately takes the ball. Does find the instantaneous trade though from the sidelines. Blitz gets shut down. That's kind of the problem, right? I already told you, you just can't do anything with double shields in this position. You need a little bit more utility. You need something to tell you what's happening inside of that site. And if you had a Monty, yeah, maybe it could happen. But here, it's just not going to be the case.
If shields on the equation, it still makes me ask, why didn't we have any players coming from the restaurant side, especially the Longbar side? Because I know it is a little bit difficult to take control of VIP or maybe the brown stairs as well, but at least open up the window. Trust me, sometimes just opening up the windows allows the players to have control of the particular area because they're gonna feel paranoid that okay, there might be someone outside the window. If I expose myself and play aggressively on, let's say, white hallway or anywhere else, I might be shot from behind. Again, sometimes you don't need to be there. You just create an illusion that there is someone and you will have free map control. Again, it's still a 5v5 game. How much map control can you gain? I mean, you can't be everywhere and you cannot be everywhere every time all at once. For now though, RPT, looking very damn confident so far. They also have the Clash on the board. They were trying to save it. As I said, RPT is a team would rather not play against Clash, but would rather play Clash for themselves. And maybe, just maybe, this is also going to allow them to have their opposition force a ban on Clash. Again, the meta of R6 has changed because of the new ban system. You play something for the first 3 rounds, annoying enough to make sure you have something for the next 3 rounds. And that's gonna allow you to have a pocket strategy. 5-2. Again, we have a blitz on the board here, Eggy, but who's gonna be the wingman of the blitz?
It's a big question that we need to have answered soon, because RPT, if they get one more round, that's going to be match point for them. And that's the amount of pressure that you don't want to see when you're on the side of Plunderstück. They've really showcased a lot of energy when it came down to those first initial fights, but now they're kind of falling like flies, and RPT already catching a player with the C4. And you can see that Anarchy's already laughing about that one. He's just like, yeah, I got the catch on you almost immediately. And I do believe that he caught him on the rappel. He just tossed that C4 presumptuously, and he just got that kill for free.
He fell asleep on the rappel, probably was on a drone or something, because we were focused on the floor as getting some destruction done. And looks like it's gonna remain true for the time being. The Blitz is able to create insane space here because now he has control of Cigar along with Minibar as well. I believe, yes, it is, because now he's just diving into Pixel. There's nobody to be seen. The Legion needs to wake up. No, it's not the Legion. I think it's Subarao instead. He will be slowed by the orbs here. I mean, by the Zoto canisters here. Does bring back days, doesn't it, Aggie? Because we used to see other games where you use snow to slow people down, and now we get to see it in R6 as well. As we do see a lot of flashes being tossed inside of the freezer, but gotta love the fact that the Valkyrie is under. I want to believe there will be a C4 coming in.
Yeah, they already have the setup for it. I love these C4 kills that they're utilizing as well. None of the C4s have been wasted by the members of RPT. It's found constant value for them. And that's one of the reasons why they're able to play this one out so beautifully. And the thing is, the Valkyrie kind of missed out on the opportunity too, because I don't think he knows exactly where this blitz is. So it's a bit of a timing to go in for that play. C4 yet to be utilized, I do believe. But no, it's already been utilized, sorry. Taz tried to go in for the kill onto the blitz, but he's just not going to be able to find it. Regardless though, they're going to be able to hold, take it slow, because of as long as the Valkyrie is able to go in for the spacing, I don't think they have much to really worry about. The Blitz trying to deal some damage, but he takes it instead on the opposite side. He's not going to be able to walk in this one for free. They try to go in for the plan, but it's going to be the Flores instead, so he doesn't really have the back-end support for this one. Heals to come in from either side. They do find it at the end of the day. 2v3 now across the map. Beautiful kills. It's going to be the one and only to try and bring it all back. Anarchy is trying to go in for the fight, but as long as the clash is still up and present, I do believe they're going to be able to do so much more. No, I don't think he has the shield anymore. The shield has been broken.
Oh, well,
yeah, his shield broke.
Problem after all. That's going to be a huge problem actually, because there is a player on the Scala, there's a player under as well, and now that's definitely going to be allowing them to play the vertical angles. Okay, he's going to put up the shield, but still there is a fuse in the vicinity. This is so smart! It's using the hard wall! What are you going to do about it, my guy? This is so smart!
Oh god, I love these players. Every single one of them are just having the time of their lives.
I love how the Clash put up the shield on the long table to make sure the Hibana doesn't do anything, and then get stuck on the Hibana. And the moment the Hibana was on the board, they saw there was a hole. There was a hole on the under the diffuser on the floor. That was a confirmation there is someone playing vertically. And they were like, okay, you want a vertical? What if you vertical me on a hard wall? And that's exactly what they did. Ladies and gentlemen, this is RPT is back on match point and map point. And pretty much series point as well, if I want to be honest. 6-2 as Plunderstück. They're seriously up against the wall. And now they're just having a real chill banter over here, because they're just having conversations about, I don't know, airports and professional lives, and
attackers have located a bomb.
Can't relate.
Yeah, you're having too much fun in Germany, we all know.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I gotta start Jaws, man, please.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Real life really does start to hit in more ways than one. But for the members of RPT, the reality of the situation is for them that they're one step away from a win. And the Plunderstück, it's either go big or go home. There's no more second chances here. The safety net that you could have had is now all but gone. This is the decider map, so you need to take this victory away for yourself. how many consecutive rounds that they have won here? It was a 2-2 at one point, and then it was 4 consecutive
4.
rounds won for the members of RPT, even after the round swap. So you don't want to be in a position like this. Once again, maybe a possible C4 getting tossed in from the sentry, but it's not going to be the case here. They're not playing it as risky as you would have hoped for, but as long as they play for a little bit of information, this is good. But look at them as Lucy's positioning. It's not going to be looking that well. But why do they? Who in their right mind draws for a skylight? Hello?
The drops have been nerfed. I mean, previously on Siege, non-X Siege, if you drop when you're dropping, you always say ADS, but now it's not the case anymore. And somehow they're doing the exact same thing all over again, just different places. I don't get it. Well, it is still a 2v5, very much doable because they have the diffuser in hand. And I do see they're just trying to draw something. Yeah, it is a heart. Oh, that's kawaii. I don't know if it's a heart actually, but
it's a heart.
A for effort. It is indeed an A for effort. Oh, look at him.
Oh, that's so cute.
That is so cute. By the way,
I freak out about that.
My shot. Yeah, I did what I did. Oh no! He's doing it. Come on.
No. That's a smiley face. That's a smiley face. Shush.
It looked something like a tower, but anyways, I'm not gonna be able to say it. Anywho.
Hey, get your bite out of the gutter. This is a whole
Men will be men, man. I've been seeing a lot of R-rated movies recently, like We're the Millers and forgot. Well, the players seem to be leaving the game, so well, Maxwell. Is he just gonna leave the game or what?
I guess it's over. Yeah, GG's, I guess, at the end of the day. 40 seconds of trying to make it into this round and trying to make it work, I guess, but... I mean, at least it was fun, right?
Yeah,
you got to see something wholesome at the end of the stream.
That is true, but this is an awkward end to any game I've casted so far, but... Okay, is he gonna block the lasers? Let's play the game. Block all the lasers. Well, it's still 2 lasers off the board, but still. 8 seconds left on the clock. There's just nothing the ace is gonna do. It's gonna be a flawless round as well, and it's gonna be RPT is back on the board as well. RPT is back, and it's indeed RPT is indeed back. I'm not sure where they came from, if there was a gap or something, but hey, in the end, it is gonna be RPT who's gonna win this best of 3 series in a 2-1 fashion, and in the end, nice attempt from the side of Plunderstück as well, but oh well, that's just that.
Yeah, I love it when you see it, ladies and gentlemen. A very anticlimactic way to end off a best of 3 series, but hey, at least we got to see something fun right at the very end. And honestly speaking, there's not really much that I can say here. The map of Cafe was just a one-sided show for the members of RPT. They had a better game plan in check, and their mental was just in a little bit more of a better spot for a lot of these rounds. The planning was good from Plunderstück, but it just didn't really execute well when it came down to the late game. A lot of the rounds that they were going in for, they had good ideas, but again, ideas are ideas until you're able to go in for a proper execution, and they just were not able to.
Yeah, that's kind of the summary of the game as well, because it did feel like the side of Plunderstück did have an answer in the first map because they were able to put up a fascinating comeback as well. But on the second map, I would still say they had an A for effort. But on the third map, however, it kind of felt like that they lost all the momentum they had. They did start things off in a much more spectacular fashion because it was a 2-round lead for them, but then they happened to lose 7 rounds back to back. It kind of felt like the players of RPT understood exactly how this is gonna go down, and I'm not sure if there was something they had a target on. Like, for example, if they had any target bans, if they had any target operator targets, or if they knew which player to pick off initially, whatnot. So it is something Plunderstück kind of lacked on the very third map. But at the same time, Plunderstück, I would say that they are a team who does shine the brightest when it comes to playing with something unorthodox. For example, we saw, I believe, 2 or 3 interrogations, maybe 2. One was successful, one wasn't. I'm not sure if there was a third actually, but at least that's where the side of Plunderstück were able to portray how strong they are when it comes to those particular strategies. And RPT, yeah, they did have a back shot on, should I say, a backlog onto the side of first map, but on the second round, the third, they really didn't have too much of an effort because at least on my logs, RPT, they just played it flawlessly and they kept themselves calm.
Absolutely.
Even though they were taunting their teammates, it was actually a part of the game.
Absolutely. They were having fun on the server while on the side of Plunderstück. They just didn't really have as much to go in for it. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that's all that we have in front of your screens for tonight. We're going to be bringing you a lot more action tomorrow. Don't forget that in the weekends, that's where EON is really going to be coming alive every single time this weekend and on the next one. So make sure to hit that follow for the side of Twitch and also get on the Discord side if you want to get notified when we do go live for our streams. But for now, it's going to be your boy Aggressive with Pressure signing on off. And we're going to be seeing you tomorrow with a lot more R6 action here at EON. Good night and happy gaming, everyone.
That's good.